For the final time in Term 2 of 2023, we descend on Sandown Raceway in Victoria. We descend on Thursday night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube. And we descend on Toyota 86 Madness in the final round of the production car series here, which has delivered in spades right throughout the course of the season. 10 different circuits. We're up to races 19 and 20 of the campaign. We've had 5 different cars to play with, but this is our first look at the Toyotas because 5 weeks ago, the internet was down in Grant Gill's part of the world. A very good evening, everybody. Nice to have you along for the ride. Our final outing of Thursday night motorsport for this season. Yep, Term 2, Week 10, Night 4, and we're just about done. The finish line, the checkered flag is very much in sight, and we're all looking forward to catching our collective breath over the course of the next, I'm going to say 18 days before we reconvene on the 10th of July to do it all again in Term 3 and what will be the start of Season 14 on the platforms of the GSRC. Grant Gill, good evening to you. Checkered flag in the air and flying here at Sandown. Cars about to line up on the grid. Massive field in the house. No surprise, really, with the Toyotas front and centre, of course. 27 cars on the grid. That's the situation in the championship at the moment. It is tight, a little bit too tight for comfort for Chris Whitaker because Brendan only needs to finish, grab a couple of decent top 10 finishes here, and he should pile on over the top of Chris, who is currently sipping on a couple of alcoholic beverages over in Fiji, if you don't mind. Calculation's not the strong point of any Queenslander, and CW has been brought undone by that on the opening or the closing night of the term. But it'll be interesting to see because stranger things have happened here at Sandown. There could be a sting in the tail just yet, as you saw in the points race there. No one else really in any sort of contention. It's a 3.1 kilometre circuit. We know and love it. It's Sandown Motor Raceway. 38% humidity, 19 degrees the temperature there, and 21 on track. And 12 o'clock in the afternoon. That's all good to know.
This has got 36 points in hand, he's telling us. He's right on it.
36 points in hand. Yeah, not enough to, if Brendan gets a clean sweep here, let's be honest. Brendan Whitaker and Greg Favell. Front row, Anthony Visma, Sam Chapman. Second row, Kurt Chapman and also Ryan Tegel. Third row, Nick Wood, Anthony Adshead and Adam Lavis and Brendan Griffiths make up the top 10. Sean Rees and Robert McGrath, then Jared Gilbert and Chris Stark, Dale Sharp, Matt Schmidt, Wayne Vizza, and then Jonathan Hooper, Chup Fung Wong and Greg Padgett make up the top 10 rows. And then we're not even going to get to the rest of them because we're away. The Toyota 86s are off and going at Sandown, the final one of the year as far as Season 13 is concerned. Great start up on the inside from Brendan Whitaker, who holds position. And held Greg Favell at bay going into the first corner despite Favell's best efforts.
Nick Wood
Visma tucks into third place, and Nick Wood in trouble early.
Yep, he bailed wide out of that. I believe it was Nick Wood. He dropped down the field, took the wide exit, and early on in the race, that's going to be an adventurous move. He was launched fairly unceremoniously.
Now, we should point out, because we didn't have anywhere near enough time off the top here tonight, earlier start than usual. You might have already guessed that, 7:15 Eastern Standard Time, because there's some iRacing maintenance scheduled for a little bit later on this evening, about 10 p.m. So to ensure that we get all our racing in and done and properly run and won, we had to start everything about 20 minutes early tonight to ensure that we get to the checkered flag before the servers are cut. Of course, it is a defining night on the platforms of the GSRC with Matty Dench over the course of 3 races that'll take about 70 minutes to run and first race is 15 minutes, second race is 20 minutes, third race is 35. So it's 70 minutes lights out to flag for the 3 races. It'll take a little bit more than that in terms of actual time once you throw the checkered flag and a few other things. Matty Dench could become a 6-time Porsche Cup champion to complement his 6 GT3 titles, which he secured the other night as well. So, Chris Whitaker makes the point. You do need a green car tonight to be up front.
So he wouldn't have done any good. He's always got a yellow one.
No, well, he had a green one a couple of weeks ago because he was running Luigi, was he not? So we'll wait and see on that. Let's go down the back straight. Second time, Brendan Whitaker the leader. Greg Favell, Anthony Visma going along for company. Kurt and Sam Chapman in behind that. Then Anthony Adshead, Adam Lavis, Brendan Griffiths, Ryan Tegel and Sean Rees. The top 10 here at Sandown. To the end of the back straight through turn 6 now.
That's
of course, the
very close.
GT4 cars were here the other night, putting on a great show for us, and we enjoyed that immensely. It'll be interesting to see what the Toyotas muster up. There's Adam Laver sitting in 7th place, and too late, Grant. The commentator's curse will strike because you've already put him on the camera.
I didn't say anything about him, though.
No. We only mentioned his position where he's running at the moment. Down onto the main straight again. Whittaker leading. So again, if he stays here and avoids trouble, game over. It'll be a Whittaker Motorsport 1-2, but it'll be Brendan bringing it home and winning the championship. But there's a long way to go. This race and one more. Down the inside. Here comes Favell having a lunge, but then backs out of it.
Seems I don't have Adam's GR86 camera files in here, but that'll be all right. We'll just have a few different views from what we might expect. That was supposed to be the shot from the front of the roof, but I like it. That's the back of the roof. Rear wing. Yeah, we'll be fine. We'll be absolutely fine. Closing up.
So I'm assuming you're talking about the car itself,
yes.
Grant.
Yeah, the car camera files. We've got the track just fine. He's given me that. Ah, there you go. Chris has got it down to the minutiae. But Favell's going to do everything he can. He's dragging along teammate Anthony Visma with him. So it looks to me like they're both running the same livery, Visma and Favell. They've got Accelerate Sim Racing for both of them. And he's having a big look down the inside now, just to let Brendan know he's there if he had any doubt whatsoever.
Favell to the inside as they come down the main straight towards turn 1. So Chris is fairly confident that he's got this one, that he's already on the off-season vacation, the end-of-season vacation. That's confidence.
Yes, indeed.
To a whole new degree. There's no doubt about that. Oh, jeez.
Close as you like.
And Anthony Visma's about to weigh in on this rather heavily as well. Adam Lavis into 8th spot now, being displaced by Ryan Tagle, Jared Gilbert and Brendan Griffiths following. Then Sean Rees and Chris Stark. Good to have him back. Robert McGrath, Chuk Fung Wong. Down the order, Shane Newens, Aidan Schultz, Josh Millard started 21st, 22nd, 23rd. They've not moved just yet.
He's throwing it down the inside. No, he pulls back in again. Zach, sorry, keep going.
Beck Connell was a non-starter. It's important to note as well. Nick Wood down 17 spots from the outset here.
Oh, there we go.
Zagats are up 10 and turn 6 bites hard. Sean Rees. He can't buy any luck on a Thursday night this season.
And
My goodness, he's been in more trouble than anything else. Chris Stark's parked in the middle of the road and also throwing himself off the road to avoid all that carnage. Was one of the purple cars. It might have been, not sure. I don't think it was Sagasa. He's moved up to 13th, so it was one of his teammates. Might have been Glenn Wilkinson, and there's Adam Lavis.
Not my fault.
No, not at all. No, we can't be blamed for that one. So, big night of sport, of course. We've got all our eyes on the motor racing happening on your screen at the moment. 2 Toyota races, 3 Porsche races, 5 races for the first time on a Thursday night this season. And, of course, Women's Ashes gets underway, Australia against England. There's a match in the AFL between Geelong and Melbourne. Second Women's State of Origin as well, only 20 minutes or so away. So it's a big night of sport. And we'll keep you across all of it as it unfolds here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Very excited about what's coming up over the next 2 weeks. So I get a 2-week break to sit back and enjoy everything that's going on in world sport. The Ashes, the Women's Ashes, Wimbledon. Oh, I don't think I'll sleep the next 2 weeks. It's great. Brendan Whittaker leads. Down to Dandenong Road once more. Brendan leads Greg Favell and Anthony Visma and Sam Chapman and Anthony Adshead, then Kurt Chapman as well. Now, just looking at the calculations here, boys. Yeah, we're on lap 5. We're coming to the end of that now. We're going to start lap 6. And we've done that in 6:45, which gets us up to 30. I've got a feeling this is going to run 12 laps. I just get the feeling that we could be on for 12 laps here. 11 at the minimum, 12 at the maximum, because, again, they're well and truly beyond that threshold of a minute 30 a lap, so that would have got us 10 laps, but they're 8 and 3/4 seconds is a lot faster than that. So, yeah, I just get the feeling that it'll be 11, maybe by the stroke of luck 12, the opening race tonight, and I can't say it with any more confidence than that. Through they go. Robert McGrath in 12th place, remembering maths isn't a strong point. Round onto the back straight we go once more. Now, still yet to find who threw themselves off the road there earlier to take evasive action, with all the cars going every way which way. But we can tell you that Josh Millard's in pit lane at the moment. Glenn Wilkinson's in pit lane at the moment. Greg Padgett has already been in pit lane. And Chris Stark back out on the racetrack after a 1 minute 10 stop as well. So already some trouble here. And in a race where pit stops aren't part of the equation, those guys have made a rod for their own back for the rest of the night thus far. Brendan Whittaker comes up onto the main straight now, continues his charge. Race lead after pole position, converted beautifully off the line to hold position and hold sway into turn 1. He's got Favell and Visma and Chapman and Adshead and Chapman. Taggart, Griffiths and Gilbert in close pursuit here. Although that being said, the top 3 are somewhat in a league of their own. They're 5 seconds up the road, 5.5 up the road from Sam Chapman right now. Anthony Adshead, Kurt Chapman, Ryan Taggart, Brendan Griffiths, Jared Gilbert and Braden Sagassa are the top 10. And Sagassa up 16 spots and in the invert position at the moment. 1 second, or 2.6 seconds actually, between him and Jared Gilbert, who's 9th at the moment. So Gasman's on a charge, but he might be well suited to stay there right now. It might be within his best interest because he would inherit the invert pole position for the second race.
Let's see if
as things stand right now. Hello, Grant.
Yeah, let's see if we can have a look at a couple of those incidents. Sean Rees and Chris Stark. Rees on the outside, Stark on the inside. Stark just comes across on him, doesn't realise he's there, and then he'll spin around and back onto the, not him, there we go, jumped in front of someone else, and as you said, one of the purple cars went careening off there as well. Let's see what else we've got to have a look at. Shane Nguyen's had a moment. Too much outside curb. Round he goes. Oh, does well not to involve anyone else. Another car into the wall there. Oh, into the pits, yes indeed.
So Sagassa in 10th place at the moment and only 2.1 seconds away from Brendan Griffiths. There they are. We've got Kurt Chapman on screen at the moment. He's got Ryan Taggart for company. The next cars in shot at the top of screen there are exactly who we're keeping an eye on. Brendan Griffiths in 8th. Jared Gilbert in 9th, and now Braden Sagassa within a second of them. In 10th, so he's come from out of the clouds to take about a second off them last time round. A 21.4 for Sagassa, a 22.0 for Gilbert, and a 21.5 for Griffiths. Down to 89 Margaret. It's still a 3-horse race here at the top. 120.9 for Anthony Visma, the fastest lap of the race thus far. Hope you're enjoying Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the GSRC. One last time in turn 2. What a privilege, what a pleasure it has been to bring it all to you once more. We'll put a full stop on this at the end of the night. We'll wrap it all up. We'll most likely crown a 6-time Porsche Cup champion unless something rather untoward happens. I'm not sure if Chris Whittaker's able to chime in via Discord from Fiji if he has won the championship here. We'll wait and see.
How intelligible, not intelligent, but how intelligible he'll be after a couple of Fiji golds. Oh, big bump of the curbs through there, and Favell is all over him, and Visma is right there as well. Sagassa and Chuk Fung Wong, goes wide, goes Jared Gilbert, I think.
Ooh. So Sagassa's still sitting 10th at the moment. He can see Jared Gilbert. He's right there. Bang! Gives him a huge nudge for his money. A shove, a shunt, whatever you want to call it. Here comes Favell. Favell down the inside at 6 on the inside of Whittaker. The side by side they go. Racing this. And Whittaker holds on again. Deep under brakes. Down to Dandenong Road. Runs it wide. Here comes Favell up the outside. Whittaker's well positioned with the inside for the next corner though. So Favell's going to have to do it the long way round, but if he can get around the outside there, he'll be on the inside for the next corner. There he is, he tucks back in. He had no choice. He ran out of time. He ran out of room. Whittaker holds sway again. 9 laps gone at Sandown. Across the line we go.
Big draft.
And I think they're going to get back to the line by about 4 seconds, Grant. 4 seconds.
Copy that.
A 12th lap here, so keep your eyes on that. Here goes Favell to the inside. The equation was pretty simple for Brendan Whittaker. He needed to win and win well. Get the pole position. He did that, but he needs to win both races. He needs all the bonuses to go his way. But at one point or another, as Chris has already politely reminded us on numerous occasions, he's got a buffer to fall back on here, which works out well for him.
Jonathan Hooper just trying to get out of the way. He tucked right over to the left-hand side, and of course, Favell said, "I'll have a little bit of your draft, though." Thanks, mate. And Hooper was probably thinking, no, you go the other side. But here we go, and Chris is right.
Here goes Whittaker again. Back down the inside. Brendan to go back to the lead. Nicely done. Oh, no. Greg Favell's in the wall, and there's carnage at turn 7 and 8. Favell's found the wall. Trademark Sandown right there. And then it's a race in 2. Unbelievable drama here, and how lucky Brendan was that he missed all of it.
What's Visma got for us? Has he got 3/4 of a second that he can pull up? We'll try and grab that incident right there.
Chris did say a few moments ago, Grant, that you need to watch. You need to watch for Visma.
Yep.
But this is what happened for Favell. There was no
curb.
Contact. He just way too much curb, and bang. It was Armco waiting.
And Hooper, trying to get out of the way, ended up getting nailed.
In the way. Wrong place, wrong time. Favell done. Hooper done. 24 cars still out on the racetrack, not those two. They're in pit lane. The entire field's still some way involved in this race. They've got to the end of lap 10. They've got to that 75% threshold, so good luck to them. Oh, boy. Brendan Whittaker leads Anthony Visma. Visma with the fastest lap of the race. And Whittaker's only going to have 1 lap to go at the line. Here we go. What has Visma got left in the tank? Because this is the point. If Whittaker gets even the slightest blip in the road here, a second, a third, anything that isn't a 1 next to his name tonight, it's not going to help him. One way or another, Whittaker Motorsport wins both championships. We just don't know which way it goes, whether it's C or B. At the top end of the tree. Last lap board in the air, white flag is out. Down the inside, Visma to turn 1. Down the inside of the touch! And Whittaker barely hangs on to it. Oh, the elbows are out tonight. How good's Thursday Night Motorsport been this season? Whittaker, Visma, Chapman, Adshead, Tegel, Griffiths. We're looking at the battle with Griffiths now up the outside to try and get by Tegel.
And then just behind that, Lavis and Sagassa, and behind them, Gilbert and Jackson as well. So, Adam, put it on 2-wheel, put it back on 4. Curb.
Sagassa's right there to have a look for lucky number 7. Lucky P7. Here we go. Through 6, 7, 8, and now down to 9 for the final time. Brendan Whittaker. Whittaker Motorsport. Doesn't matter what the car has been on offer on show throughout the course of this season. Whittaker Motorsport has absolutely dominated it. Down we go. Last 2 corners. Checkered flag, and Brendan Whittaker gets yet another W next to his name in the production car series on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Race 1 of the 86s at Sandown is his.
Or is it?
Job done.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, the finish line's well up the road there. The start line's there. The finish line's about 300 metres the other way.
Copy that.
Whittaker gets the job done, and well done at that as well. Is Barney actually doing his job? He is. He's actually waving the bloody flag tonight. Well done.
Adam Lavis has got bumped back to 10th after that, so he does get the invert, but we'll see if we can pick that up. Adam, where are you? So Adam, big challenge on Sagassa.
Oh dear.
He's going to get knocked from the the inside. No, he just ran wide. So did Sagasa.
Oh, no.
Through they went. Wow. That was good.
Oh, boy. That was very good. The elbows were out. That's all made possible with thanks to Waste Options. Blackout Electrical Solutions login systems. And also Astute Finance, Insurance and Wealth in East Brisbane. The great people at Fisher & Dahl Lawyers. And, of course, Rush Graphics. Now, there is an injury in the middle of the field in the AFL. There's a fair stoppage unfolding there at the moment after only 8 minutes and 7 seconds of time on. And we can tell you that Geelong have the lead at the moment, 2-2-14 to 0-1-1 over the Melbourne Demons. Reece Gosner acknowledging Brendan Whittaker's performance. Yes, it was a great win, and he had to withstand such tremendous pressure there as well with Visma and also Favell earlier in the piece. Anthony Adshead in 4th place will start 7th. Brendan Griffiths will start 6th. Ryan Tegel 5th. Jared Gilbert 4th. Jake Jackson. Braden Sagasa on the front row and Adam Lavis as well. So Sagasa was going for 7th, ended up 9th in all of that and took Adam Lavis with him back a couple of spots as well. So Jackson the beneficiary there. Schmidtke, McGrath, Wood, Fung Wong, Sharp, Rees, Chapman, Schultz, Vizza, and Millard made up the top 20. Beyond that, Greg Padgett, Shane Newens, then Glenn Wilkinson, who ran into trouble early, Greg Favell, who ran into trouble late, Jonathan Hooper and Chris Stark were 9 finishers down 4 laps in all of that. And Beck Connell was a non-starter. Oh, boy.
Beck must have just popped in to have a look and see how competitive she was, and then perhaps decided that combo was not for her liking. But maybe she's making a run for next season, perhaps.
She's doing great things in the Australian Karting Championship as well at the moment as young Beck. Doing well.
In real world. Fantastic.
Yes. Yep. And her brother Jeff, once upon a time also a member of the club back in the day, he's no slouch when he gets behind the wheel of a cart either. But Beck is where the hopes of the Connell family ride these days.
Well, I think
on the Australian Karting Championship scene.
Yeah, I think Mr. Connell took out the Formula Ford on last night. Took out the series, so he was just that's Jeff Connell or Connell.
Yeah.
I think he pretty much schooled them all season, and a quiet lament from our mate from Echuca. His name is just escaping me for a very brief moment. Echuca Toyota, the Pulse leader of the Pulse boys.
Johnny Merritt.
Johnny Merritt, yeah, he had a lament that he wasn't able to make more of the season, but we know he was away enjoying some warmer climes and probably looking forward to whatever open wheelers we've got going next season as well.
All right, there's the grid. The final one of the term, the GSRC Production Car Championship. One of the real gems of our offerings throughout the course of this season. There's no doubt about that. And Adam Lavis will lead the field away with Braden Sagasa alongside him. Jake Jackson, Jared Gilbert from 2, Ryan Tegel, Brendan Griffiths from 3, Anthony Adshead and Sam Chapman from 4, Anthony Visma and Brendan Whittaker from 5. And once they're unleashed, all hell breaks loose for 25 minutes here at Sandown. We got 12 laps in the opening race. So we'll be heading for somewhere in the vicinity of 19, I reckon, for this second race. And there is a look at the full grid for you. The final one of the term for Thursday night entree style on the platforms of the GSRC. And what a setting for it. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, track temperature 19 degrees or 20 degrees, ambient temp 19. Let's get it on. Let's go to work. Beautiful start. Adam Lavis converted off the line nicely. Jared Gilbert, a great start as well. Already got by both Jake Jackson and Braden Sagasa. Down to turn 1 we go. Gilbert, a good start.
Oh,
can they all get through safely? No, they can't. There goes Griffiths. Gone. Griffiths plummets right to the back of the field. Oh, more trouble. Oh.
Adshead, I think, was involved in something, perhaps.
Chris was right, this is going to be on, and it's been on from the outset.
Yeah, well, we've had Mario Brothers. We've got Donkey Kong going on right now. Jared Gilbert and Jake Jackson side by side down into the sweeper. Or is that Sagasa and Gilbert? It's one of them purple cars anyway, and they're going to be on cold tyres, pulling it up down here. You've got to be straight, you've got to be tidy. Brendan Whitaker already up into 5th place, so he's up 5. Thank you very much.
Half the job done on the opening lap, and now on the attack here is Visma trying to get by on the inside of Tegel. Can't get it done. We started with 23. We lost Robert McGrath, Aidan Schultz and Jonathan Hooper in that opening race. We've got Adam Lavis going to the outside. Sagasa and Jackson ganging up on Gilbert on the inside, and Gilbert hung out to dry as they run down to turn 1. But he's going to try his best to keep Jack Jackson at bay, and will do so. Brendan Whitaker's right there. They cannot afford to let Adam Lavis get away with this. Because if they start squabbling amongst themselves, that's exactly what will happen. But Adam Lavis is smart enough to know that he can sense the pack is bearing down on him at a rapid rate of knots. Down the back straight for the second time.
He's hoping for better luck for Sean Rees this time, side by side with Matt Schmidtke, and looks like he's got that job done. But still madness up front, side by side into the sweeper. Will that work? No, it does work out. Dive down the inside. Jake Jackson, Jared Gilbert pushes him wide.
Out, boys. There we go. And now, as I said at the start, Grant, 18 or 19 laps is your marker, but there's a splash and dash to be factored into the equation there as well. So that will be a big determining factor as to whether we go 18 or 19 here. Across the line we go. Brendan has pace to burn, just needs to be patient as the advice from Chris Whitaker, but watching from that side of the fence and being in the thick of the action are two completely different things here.
2 for 1 down here. My goodness.
Patience takes a holiday as Brendan Whitaker says, bugger being patient. I want to get this job done as quickly as possible. But on the outside, holding him at bay, again is Jared Gilbert, and there's a door bang there as well. Whitaker holds on to 4th, gets by Chapman and also Jackson, and Visma's in there behind as well. Gilbert down the back straight, holding 3rd. Sagasa is gone, out in pursuit of Adam Lavis. They're 2.6 seconds down the road already.
Sagasa fastest lap of the race, 1:21.69 that last time round. So that was just 13 hundredths quicker than Adam Lavis. But he's right with him now, all over him. And that pack of 5, look at that. Chapman, Jake Jackson, Anthony Visma, and Ryan Tegel. They're all in there, and they're going side by side for a big part of it as well. That is crazy.
Indeed it is. How good's this been so far, though? It's a logjam of traffic. 3rd all the way back to about 14th at the moment. At the end of that train is Greg Favell. And Josh Millard and Glenn Wilkinson not too far down the line either. Nick Wood under pressure now as well. Dal Sharp, not a fan of this car. He prefers the Clio. Interesting analysis there. I'm sure one other commenter would disagree relentlessly. As Sagasa goes to the lead and Lavis slots back to 2nd.
I think Adam might have
a look at this.
Outbraked himself here.
Uh-oh.
Clip of the curb. Car's unstable. Hangs on to it. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Good to say that he gathered it up. Yeah, exactly. Down the back straight we go one more time. Here we go.
Look
the
at
log
that
jam
gaggles.
traffic. Look at the freight train.
Crocodile.
Look at this. Put these blokes on Talladega, you'd get your value for money, I can tell you. Down they go. Sagasa, Lavis, Whitaker. Then Chapman, Jackson, Gilbert, Visma, Tegel. Chapman, Rees, Schmidtke and Fung Wong, the top 12 for Vellin behind, and Nick Wood there hanging on as well. Chris Whitaker, not a fan of the Clio. We found that out the hard way last week.
Adam Lavis. Whoa.
Big lunge, big dive. Adam Lavis back to the front. Now gather it up a little bit better than you did last time, son. That's it. But Sagasa's going to have a run. Sagasa with a brilliant run off the final quarter.
Look at P3.
Sagasa to throw it down the inside potentially. And look who's, Brendan Whitaker lurking in the shadows. He's right there. He can sniff this because Sagasa and Lavis are doing a good enough job of inviting him into the fight by holding one another up. Lavis holds sway to turn 1. Sagasa tucks into 2nd. Whitaker now a serious threat in 3rd.
Looks like Sagasa might have had a slowdown if he's got too much of that sweeper. Yeah, it looks very much like it, doesn't it? So invited Adam back through. Said, hang on to my beer while I just get rid of this penalty. And Brendan Whitaker now sets a 1:20.99, and third car in this train heading along here. They've broken away a little bit by 2 seconds from that madness, and that next gaggle is spread out a bit as well. Jared Gilbert's just had a moment. Just prior to that, I should imagine.
Oh dear. Yep.
Let's see, he was on and off track a couple of times there.
That's divided the train a little bit, and Jared Gilbert is now parked up and will find himself out of the race. Dale Sharp, the reason for his comment, already retired as well. Yep. And Brendan Griffiths sits in pit lane with Jared Gilbert. There's the trouble. We're waiting for it.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Big bump into the car in front, upset the car, and she span around on the deceleration. Greg Favell.
That would have been crabbing.
Yeah, 13 spots, Greg Favell, up into 11th place now, and about to take Matt Schmidt's 10th place off him.
There's Adam Lavis, race leader. Sagasa and Whitaker in close pursuit. Thursday night motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, and you're watching it live from Sandown. Sim time and real world time not matching up here, because if they were, we'd be racing with our headlights on and with no artificial assistance from the track itself, which would make it very hard for us commentators. I don't need to remind everybody of the trip to Phillip Island we had with the GT4s a few seasons back. 4:17 in the afternoon. Beautiful conditions for racing. Fine and dry, something you wouldn't normally associate with Melbourne at this time of the year. At 8 minutes gone, 17 to go. Adam Lavis leads the field back to the start-finish line at the end of lap 6. Look at this fight in behind. Jeez.
Fantastic.
Visma and Favell both factoring into it here. Ryan Tegel blinking in and out, so watch for a potential packet loss issue for him a little bit later in the piece, if that's how it's going to be carrying on. Griffiths, I think it is, trying to get back out on the racetrack, or is it Gilbert? Actually, it's both of them. Both of them back out on the racetrack now, so that's good to see. And Dale Sharp out of the race. So 22 still out there. Couple of them are up down, but you've got to be in it to win it. So, what can Brendan Whitaker do here? All over the back of Sagasa, who's all over the back of Lavis. You're watching the fight for first at the moment. Three-way fight, throw a handkerchief over them. They've got 1.5 seconds on the rest of the pack. Just saw one car on the tow rope to pit lane. It's Sean Rees. Again, Sean's run into more trouble. He can't avoid it this season. He just walks into it. Does Sean, whether it's deliberately or inadvertently, I'm not sure, but Sean cannot find his way out of trouble in this campaign. Oh, tag! Oh, Ryan down the inside. Favell on the outside, holding position at the moment. He'll be on the inside of the next corner. Taggle looking to outmuscle him, though, and go deep and round the outside to put himself on the inside of the final corner, and that's exactly what he'll do. Beautifully done from Ryan Taggle. Off. Goes Anthony Visma, but he comes into pit lane, and so does Favell.
Synchronised.
That was the only way to counterbalance that moment for Anthony Visma, was to come straight into pit lane. We're on lap 8. Chris is tipping an early stop from Brendan, but not as early as some. We're in the window. We're 15 minutes to go. We're at the end of lap 7. We're on lap 8. Adam Lavis continuing to lead the way.
This is Sean Rees in the Sharp EIT's on the inside. He's got nowhere to go. That was unfortunate. And
not a race ending incident, but
his mate. They're known to one another. I think they both work in the same car dealership.
Just not in any way, shape or form a race-ending incident, but frustration has clearly got the better of Sean Rees there, and who can blame him after the season he's had. Adam Lavis leads down to Dandenong Road once more. We're up and about on a Thursday night at Sandown. Hope you're enjoying it at home. Or in Fiji, depending upon where you are.
Bula.
Yes.
It's new home for the week.
Exactly. Don't envy him. Lavis into pit lane, and in with him, unsurprisingly, goes Brendan Whitaker. The end of lap 8.
Let's see what Sagassa's got under the hood of that car and under the hood of his chest. If he's got a bit of ticker there, he'll be looking for an absolute blinding lap this time through. So Adam Lavis back on track, back out in 8th place, just tucked in behind Anthony Adshead. We can see Tegel in the background and Visma and Favell as well. Wondering if there's a bit of crew chiefing going on
from afar? I'm not sure.
Very afar.
I'm not sure. Oh, could you imagine? Yeah, definitely not.
He'd
exactly.
probably tell him to fill it up, and he'd be referring to the barman.
Why would you want to be?
He'd be referring to the barman at
exactly
rather than
wide goes Sagassa. Sam Chapman's going to lead this thing. Sam Chapman to the front. Have a look at that. Very nicely done. Onto the main straight. Chapman, Sagassa and Jackson the top 3 at the moment, but that's not on corrected order. The field not yet cleansed. We've got a few different strategies at play here.
Kurt Chapman and Schmidtke are in. Adam Lavis has got a beautiful 5.5 second gap in front of him to just charge into, and I'm sure these two blokes will work together very nicely. This is Nick Wood having a not unfamiliar moment, just trying to get it held up just a little heavy, and very nicely manoeuvred around there as well from Visma or Favell. So that is
Whitaker having got by and leapfrog Adam Lavis in the pit cycle as well. So Lavis has lost out on pit road to Brendan Whitaker. That's important to note. Adshead, Wilkinson, Jackson, Sagassa, Chapman. Chapman, Sagassa, and Jackson are the 3 you're watching on screen at the moment. Wilkinson and Adshead behind that, about 16 seconds down the road. Those 2 yet to stop, plus this 3. Everybody else has transited the lane. So everybody else is right to go to the flag if they've done their maths and their homework correctly.
Big fuel save from Sagassa
past
there.
Half race distance.
Big jump on the clutch there from Sagassa. He's going to see how far he can wring this thing absolutely dry. Sam Chapman certainly found some pace. Yeah, Adam does need to latch on. I was about to mention that exactly, in that you'd mentioned they need to be smart. This is where Adam's best chance is to try and hang into a draft here and come up with Brendan Whitaker. They're now 4.25 seconds behind Anthony Adshead, yet to pit. I'll pop up our gap to the leader, and we can see Brendan Whitaker is 22.6 seconds behind Sam Chapman. And Braden's dropped back in the clutches of Jake Jackson a little bit there. So Chapman doing a great job, and we saw, as I mentioned before, Sagassa is doing a fair dose of fuel saving. He's on the clutch there. His motor's not even registering. He kick-starts it as he comes around, and doing a good job to just be within that 0.8 seconds. And that's what we see with fuel saving, is often jumping back on the clutch. Big fuel save again. Jumping back on the clutch can upset the car, and we've seen Matty Dench do it time and time and time again. They go around again.
Now down the main straight we go. That's the end of lap 11. On to lap 12 we go. Corey Lazarus is trying to get Adam Lavis's attention in the Discord server about the Porsche finale coming up, but he's not going to have any luck for the next 10.5 minutes as we continue this race here.
Wilkinson comes in from 4th place into the pits, so we must be getting low down on fuel, I would think. They'll all know exactly how far they got in the first race. That was 15 minutes and a bit. So we're just at that point now. See who's been able to save that little bit of fuel to try and get one up in the pits. But Braden Sagassa could be costing himself position with Brendan Whitaker by not pushing on and doing that fuel saving. Some action going on in the background here of Favel, Teagle and Visma. So that gap from Brendan to the leader, Sam Chapman, is down a second. It's down to 21.5. And Sagassa's dropped back a second.
So Chris Whitaker is predicting that Brendan has these guys covered because they've gone too late. When do they go to pit lane? Let's wait and see. Chapman's continuing on, so too Sagassa. Jackson dives in. Jackson dives in at the end of lap 12. So we're on to lap 13. We've got 8.5 to go. Yeah, 6 laps from here, I do believe.
Can you imagine Chris's wife over there? Nash. Oh, for goodness sakes, Chris, we're on holidays. Put that thing down.
Well, yeah, that's exactly right. 100%. I'm sure that he would have been asking for a leave pass for just this hour to watch how this plays out. And then he can go back to being a doting husband and father for the duration of the remainder of the holiday.
Out, Adam Lavis past him. So Sam Chapman is just a little bit up the road.
So Lavis has got him covered. So too Brendan Whitaker. And Chris is 100% spot on. They've left it too late. Both Lavis and Whitaker have got him covered. Yes, hello to Lisa, Mrs. Whitaker, long suffering.
Probably waist deep in a gallon of cocktail.
I would say that it's stretched out at the bar for this hour. Yeah, absolutely. Around they come onto the main straight again. Look at us go. Sam Chapman, Braden Sagassa, Anthony Adsett, Brendan Whitaker, and Adam Lavis. Chapman and Sagassa continue on again. Extremely interesting tactics here.
Lost another second to Brendan Whitaker. 20.2 now the gap. Jackson's just got past.
And by this point, Grant, the horse is bolted.
Yes. Oh, around goes someone there.
Yeah, amazing what wine does. Yeah, very nicely done. Well played, CW. I'll pay that. Lap 14 here for those of you just joining us, and have a look at Lavis latching onto Jackson now. Down the outside, this is a fight for, effectively, we think it's going to be third in the car race. Maybe
Adam,
second.
Pull it up, mate.
Turn 1, Lavis has gone too deep, and he manages to get it back on the black stuff. Extraordinary.
There might be an invoice to pay out there.
Lavis keeps Jackson at bay for now, but you're right, Grant, watch out for the potential invoice.
Oh, 3 wide up in front. Oh, and I just heard something go bang.
Oh, no. Oh, dear.
Who I heard something go bang on the broadcast. Adam
Josh
Lavis.
Millard sits down there in 14th at the moment. Chris Whitaker asking the question about track limits. Won't matter because Jackson's going to get by on the run down to turn 6. Jackson down the inside. Sagassa goes on to lap 15. Chapman comes to pit lane. Field almost cleansed.
Sagassa goes again.
He certainly does. The 20th minute of play. How good's this been?
18.5 seconds back to Whitaker. Chris must have his sound turned very low so you and I, Zach, aren't annoying the lovely people over in Fiji.
Yes. Well, doesn't worry me if I'm annoying them. They're not going to find me in the vicinity of the next 3 hours. However, CW, he's there all week, so he wants to make friends while he's there. He doesn't want to be public enemy number 1 on night number 1. Sagassa, Whitaker, Jackson and Lavis, then Favel and Visma 6th and 7th. Ryan Taggle down the inside of Anthony Visma to 7th. Ryan Taggle, nicely done. He too not a fan of the Clio last week.
So Chapman's come out just in front of Jackson where he was, and in behind Brendan Whitaker. So Jackson's just in front of Adam Lavis, so he's been bumped back another one. Adam's got a fight on his hands, but now just 17.7 seconds back to Chris. Brendan Whitaker has 5.5 seconds gap over Sam Chapman. And in comes Sagassa.
About time. At the end of lap 15, can you believe that? It's a huge run. It's an enormous run. Brendan Whitaker back round onto the main straight to start what I think might be Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Across the line he goes. Oh, I tell you what, Grant. I tell you what. He's lapping. He's just punched out a 1:21.204. And by my numbers, that's going to get us back to the line with about 2 seconds on the clock. So watch for a 19th lap by the skin of your teeth.
Oh, that's a lot
19th
of
lap by the skin of your teeth.
Right, 4.5 seconds lead over Brandon Sagassa. Anthony Visma. Once again, down in the Dandenong. Too much curve. Round she goes.
We will wait and see if I'm on the money with that, but I'm not. Yeah, it is so touch and go as to whether we get. It's in the control of this man. It's in his hands. It's at his say so. The throttle, the brake, everything that powers that car around this racetrack. It's on his say so. It's on his right foot as to whether we go to lap 19 or this finishes at lap 18, and we will get an indication at the end of 17 if there's a white flag flying or not. Into the setting sun, down to Dandenong Road we go once more. Jackson in 4th place, trying to go with Chapman. Lavis is there too. They're fighting for the final spot on the podium. Sagassa has come out in 2nd place.
Oh, look out.
Brayden has come out in 2nd, so he's lost out to Brendan, but he hasn't lost out to Adam Lavis. Everybody else has.
Chris is.
Oh no, Jackson off the road. Oh, he keeps it on the road, but he's lost out to Adam Lavis. He's probably clipped the grass coming out of the final corner. Lavis goes back to 4th.
Yeah, Brendan's...
Chapman now comfortable in 3rd.
Brendan's not setting the world on fire. That gap's down to 3.7, so there might be a little bit of fuel saving going on there. Let's have a look at pit times for these boys. And Brendan Whitaker, 8.5, but he pitted pretty early. Sagassa just 4.6 compared to Chapman of 7.2. So we knew Sagassa was doing a lot of fuel saving. We'll find out in a little bit if he's done enough. But there you've got Jake Jackson and Greg Favell. Favell passed Jackson.
Oh, very nicely done from
19
Favell.
spots. Thank you very much.
Into 5th place. And that's a nice way to seek redemption after the way it all fell apart late in race 1. Back to the line we'll go this time by. Will there be a white flag or will we get 2 more? We're going to wait and see. Brendan Whitaker leads this thing by 3.4 seconds. He can afford to taper off if he wants to, but that's not his style. He'll want to make a statement here. Win this round, secure 2nd in the championship. We'll see what that does for the points when Chris's drop round is put back into the to the threshold there. Doesn't look like there's a flag waving for 9, so I think we're good to go one more time around after this one. 2 to go at Sandown. Brendan Whitaker to bring this home after 19 laps. So the old calculator's working okay.
Oh, the Zaculator. Chris, have you got your texters out? Your wife Lisa could play along
Is
too.
he playing bingo?
I don't know if he is. Oh, that's Brandon Griffiths.
No.
Just too much.
Brandon Griffiths.
Too much on the bimmer. Chucked it in there and around she went.
Not for the first time in this race either.
3 seconds.
Oh dear.
Sam Chapman a further 2.9 back. So all sorted out pretty well, except for Adam Lavis, who wouldn't mind having a look at that 3rd step on the podium, just 0.8 of a second back.
So Brendan Whitaker to bring them down to Dandenong Road once more. Half a minute on the clock. But we're convinced that we get another one this time around. We'll wait and see what iRacing suggests. We didn't see a white flag being waved, so I think we do get another lap around. Brendan Whitaker to bring us back around onto the main straight. 10 seconds on the clock. 9, 8, 7, 6. The clock will expire. They're going to get back to the line. There's the white flag. One more time around. We got there with 2 seconds on the clock. Oh, how good was that?
Adam Lavis, come on down.
Up the outside goes Lavis on Chapman for 3rd in the car race. Lavis to go onto the podium. On the outside, Chapman to turn 1. Now remember, these two got themselves in strife into each other's doors last week. They'll be hoping to avoid a repeat of that.
Yeah.
Lavis holding on for the moment, but Chapman's right there SMSing him.
Yeah, a young mate would be going, outside is suicide, Adam, outside is suicide. He's there again. He's there again.
Capo down the inside. back to third. That is
The
going to be a battle to
compromise.
keep your eye on. Brendan Whittaker had one task tonight. It was to come here and clean up. He's doing that. 2.2 to the good on Braden
Oh, he's too
Sagasa.
quick. I think he's too quick. No, he's pulled it up beautifully, Sam Chapman. But look at Lavis. He's got drive out
Lavis
of there.
lunging. He's right there. He's going to be on the outside when they get down to turn 10. Lavis and Chapman side by side. Have a look at this. Brendan Whittaker gets the job done. Brendan Whittaker does the double at Sandown. But here's the battle for third. And have a look at Greg Favell up the outside to try and get both of them. Have a look at Favell. Oh, three-way photo. Chapman for third. Edges out Favell and Lavis. And meanwhile, Braden Sagasa finishes with the fastest lap of the car race at 1 minute 20.978.
Very nicely
Oh,
done.
brilliant stuff.
He checked.
Brendan Whittaker gets the job done, did what he needed to do, Grant, won both races, took pole position, took all the bonuses. Not sure if he got a clean race in both either, but in saying all of that, he did everything he needed to do to try and be the spanner in the works for Chris, but I'm not sure it's going to work out for him that way. Brendan Whittaker wins the round. Whittaker Motorsport win the championship. 1 and 2. We'll get clarification on the order as such in a few moments' time. Sagasa, Chapman, Favell and Lavis made up the top 5. Lavis was third halfway through that last lap and ended up 5th. Then Tegel, Wilkinson, Rd-10 and Nick Wood made up the top 10.
Yes, Reese, it was a finish. Apologies for the front two, but that was just too good to step away from. What a result. And, people are jumping in already. Chris Whittaker's joined the green room as well. How about that?
All the way from Fiji. I'm not sure what the delay is going to be like, but we'll find out in just a moment. We'll have a chat to him. But Matt Schmidtke and Brendan Griffiths are here as well. Braden Sagasa is jumping in for a chat as well. I tell you what, Graham, I'm really glad that the Production Car Championship is now over and done with, because my voice box needs a break after all of that. Those guys have just turned it on over the course of the last 10 weeks. Fantastic stuff. And I wasn't even here for 2 of them. One because of the internet dropout at your end, one because the lovely Lisa was in town and I was trying to keep her company. And we were out for dinner that night. So I've missed 2 rounds, but by gee, the other 8 have made up for it well and truly. Good stuff. Let's get stuck into our post-race show here, folks, and we'll get stuck into... I think we'll start with you, Brendan Griffiths. We'll go top to tail. Very nicely done. Interesting night at the office. You're in the thick of it, but at least for all the frustration that might have entailed, you persevered with it, you brought it home.
Yeah, you know, I was lucky enough to climb up to 5th in race 1, but I've not started that high, and I kind of got a little bit jittery at the front and looped it, and that was kind of the start of my frustration for race 2.
Fair enough too. Mate, in saying all of that, yeah, it can spook you a little bit when you start a lot further up the grid than what you're used to, and that's, I guess, one of the challenges added into the equation here by that invert situation.
Yeah, well, it got to one stage where I was running in 9th in that race 1. I'm like, I don't want to finish here. I want to start attacking the cars in front of me because I'm not starting off the first line.
In saying all of that, though, clearly to get to the top 6 in the first place and start 5th for that second race, you had good pace tonight.
Yeah, all 3 of us boys put in some laps across the week and found a little bit of pace here. So it was good to see all of us in top 10 at one stage, but for one reason or another, we just tripped and stumbled and ended up here. So, but no, it's good. It's progress we can build into going into next season for whatever series we look at. So.
And of course, Zach, we've got no idea what's coming up next season. In seasons past, we would have a big reveal on the last night of broadcast for a season outlining exactly what was coming up in the season to come, but sadly we're without that, so it's a mystery to all of us.
I can actually reveal something, Grant, because it was revealed at the broadcast on Tuesday.
Oh, was
Hello?
it?
Yeah, I was going to say, just 1 second there, Sam Chapman. I'll do the introductions here, please. Just walks in and welcomes himself into the conversation. Look at him go. Chapo, okay. Reveal, since you've already, put the feelers and the spoilers out there for us, reveal your hand, please.
So it's going to be pretty much the same as this season. They're going to pretty much keep the same roster. They're happy with how this season went, and they're going to keep it on. So no need to change any plans.
I like the idea. We'll get back to you in just a moment, mate. We need to talk about your involvement in that thrilling finish there in just a moment. But while we've got you, Brendan Griffiths, second race didn't quite go to plan. You threw it away early in the piece, and it was a case of chasing your tail from there.
Yeah, it was. I got into my own head, and most racists will say once you're in there, you're not coming back out. But we did the pit stop, and it was really disappointing because after we came out of the pits a lap down, we were following the top 5 guys with some pace. But oh well, next season, hopefully we can pick up the results a little bit. But we'll go into next season. We'll have the same guys on our cars: Shockworks, Field, and Cataclysm Computers. Those guys have supported us hugely, so it's good to start seeing some positive results for them guys.
Absolutely, mate. And what's next for you? Obviously, we've now got a 2-week break. How do you spend it, and what are you looking forward to next season?
We're gonna punch out a bunch of just random laps. Just the one thing that we're lacking is probably just our pace in and around other people. We're all still a little bit nervous, so probably focus on that, and then see if we can come back and start battling these guys a little bit better.
All right, mate. Very nicely done. Stay there for me. Braden Sagassa, welcome into you. Well done. Charged hard to get into the top 10 in the first place. Won the invert. Started second. And despite all your best efforts of going long and running the tank dry, you couldn't overturn the deficit to the guys behind you who zagged when you zigged. And you come away with a second place finish, mate, but not through lack of trying. Finishing with the fastest lap. Well done.
Thank you, Zach. For some reason, I thought that I could fuel save to the end. So I was clutching in there pretty much since the start of the race.
Big time, even through the sweeper.
I thought, oh yeah, here we go. I can fuel save this. And then for about the last, I think, 7 laps, it wasn't going down. And I thought, oh, for Christ's sake, what's going on here? So I thought, and then I had Chris, one of my teammates, the team owner, he was in my ears, just pit now. Try and overturn the deficit. So I listened to the boss. I got the gap down to like 1.5 seconds, but obviously Brendan Whitaker, a different kind of animal. He kept the pace on, and yeah, I really enjoyed that race. It was clean from my perspective. It was hard racing. I had my teammate Jake with me. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, he miscalculated his fuel. Ran out of fuel on the final lap. Poor guy.
Oh dear.
And also Glenn from the rear of the grid to get a top 10. He did marvelously.
Absolutely, an awesome job from him as well after running into his own misfortunes in the previous race as well. Up 15 spots. Chris Stark up 13 as well. Greg Favell up 20, the standout performer of that race as far as we were concerned. Braden, thanks also for tidying that up earlier. We can get away with, for Christ's sake, at this time of the night. I thought we were going into very sketchy territory there. What's next for you, please, my friend? And how much have you enjoyed what you've I guess basically turned up for and entered and participated in as far as a GSRC competition is concerned this season, mate?
I've enjoyed, like you said, I've enjoyed what I've raced. And for next season, I'll probably just do similar to what I did to this season, see what's going on. If it piques my interest, I'll come in, give it a shot, and I'm sure the other 1-9 boys will be doing the same as well. Just I'm sure Jake, Matt, and Glenn have been doing a few of the GT3 races.
Yes,
too.
I certainly have.
Now,
did you? Oh yeah, sorry, Glenn.
Did you get a bit of a slowdown at one stage? And you'd got by on Adam Lavis, and then it looked like you maybe snuck a bit too much of the sweeper, or did you get a slowdown during the course of the race?
Oh no, so that's when I was fuel saving. So I was fuel saving down the sweeper. Yep. So as soon as I wanted him to get by me, so I could fuel save even a bit more
with the drive.
So it was just a bit of a she was do not fuel save through the chicane. That's when she'll
Well, it's that
It's
thing
just snap back.
of dropping the clutch back out, and if you're
that's-
not matching the revs back exactly right, it's going to be a little bit cantankerous.
It doesn't help when you're using a hand control as well. A hand control clutch, so you've only got 0 and 100%.
Mhm. Yeah, very binary.
Just exactly. Just confirming, Grant.
Yes, sir.
8:30 start for the Porsches.
I'm not sure. I was just looking, but the schedule's still saying 8:45, so we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Keep an eye on
If
that.
any of you blokes are going into the Porsches, let us know what time.
Just let us know what the
race
situation
start
is there. Let's press on. Braden, thanks, mate. Appreciate that.
No problem. Thank you.
Matt Schmidtke from 11th in the first race and just missing that invert to 6th in the second race, mate. Up 5 spots. Well done.
Thank you. Yeah, the second race was a good one. I don't know if you saw, but I ended up dead last after turn 1 in the first race, so I managed to get my way back up to 11th and saw the boys in front having a mistake, and I'm like, this is my chance to get it, but I just didn't quite get it.
Early trouble in these races seems to be common practice.
Yeah, there was a few other cars I noticed facing the wrong way. Most of my positions in the first race were actually from stuff like that, people going off. I think I made one actual overtake.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Trademark Toyota Gazoo Racing. I like it. How'd you find the car? I mean, everyone loves Sandown. It's a great racetrack, but how'd you find the Toyota 86? Are you liking it?
Oh, absolutely. This was great fun, especially compared to last week. Let's just pretend last week didn't happen.
I think a few people are on the same page as you there. We had Chris Whitaker online from Fiji. We don't have him anymore.
It's a bit too glitchy, he commented.
Just a little bit. Yep, copy that. That's all right. We'll touch base with him when he returns next season. What else have we got? Just finishing with you, Matt. What'd you make of Monday night, please?
It didn't go well for me.
Is that why we didn't get a chance to have a chat to you post-race?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, copy that. All right, so obviously, tonight's gone far better, which is good to see. And to be fair, 2 completely different races, because as you said, you're working your way back through in race 1. In race 2, you had to work hard for that.
Yeah, definitely. All the boys in front, they were real quick. I was struggling to keep up with everyone, but I just managed to hang on. And
just before we ask Matt another question here, quick update from Queensland Country Bank Stadium. The girls are leading the State of Origin. Queensland 8-6 with a kick to come, and maybe a sense of deja vu unfolding there as well after the bloodbath at Suncorp last night. Whilst we've still got you, Matt Schmidtke, what's next for you, please, and what are you most looking forward to after a couple of weeks off?
I think I'm looking forward to this series again, except for maybe the Clio.
Yeah, I get the feeling that the Clio might be shafted in favour of another car. That seems to be the general consensus.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be complaining if that happened.
No, I think Chris Whitaker's actually already submitted the petition, to be perfectly honest, to oust that car from the lineup. What would you like to see come in its place?
Oh, that's a tricky question. I'm not really sure. I'd have to think about that one.
All right, well, you think about that, and I'll press on to Ryan Tegel and Sam Chapman. Appreciate that, Matt. All the best.
Cheers.
There he is, Matt Schmidtke. 16 after 8, if you're just joining us wherever you're tuning in around Australia or indeed the world on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. 16 past 8, Australian Eastern Standard Time. I want that noted as well, because Taylor Swift fans were up and about this week complaining about her tour only coming to Sydney and Melbourne. I can't say I've got no problem with that whatsoever. I wouldn't blame her at all for bypassing Queensland. Why would you want to slip back into the Stone Age when you can enjoy progressive civilization? Let's press on. Ryan Tegel, welcome to you.
Thank you for having me.
I'm getting these cheeky digs in now because otherwise I've got to wait 2 weeks and I might forget them. Ryan, let's chat about your night, mate. That second race, of course, you shuffled back a couple of spots in the order. You had a couple of skatey moments there, it's fair to say, but in the end, you managed to bring it home with 2 top 10s, mate. Well done.
Yeah, a little bit cleaner overnight for me. I apologise profusely to Kurt Chapman, and I will apologise again. I've just sent him a private message. I'm so sorry to him. shunted him in just in that tight left-hander at the bottom of the S's. So other than that, it was a fantastic night. But yeah, I knew Max Schmicky's gone, but I knew you were trouble, mate. Yeah, he just hit me on the last lap of the second race, so that's karma for you. But look what you made me do, eh?
Well, yeah, exactly. In saying all of that, though, Ryan, we were a little bit worried there. Were there a couple of moments where you might have been a little bit blinky bill, so to speak?
Yeah, look, I only just found that out a couple of weeks ago. I thought I'd just shake it off, but Sam Chapman, he let me know a couple of weeks ago that I was starting to blink, so I've got to check my internet. But I say don't blame me, blame the internet.
Yep. No, exactly right. And I like the little Taylor Swift reference there with Shake It Off. Very nicely done.
Not in your wildest dreams.
Yeah. So is that your way of telling me that you're going to be first one lining up for tickets when they go on sale?
Well, I can't say it's a love story between me and Taylor Swift, but, you know.
Yeah, it's very nicely done.
He's probably looking for a gig in the merch stalls there. You're the merch stall worker, aren't you, Ryan? Or is that someone else?
No, you got me confused. But
Yep.
You know what? I'll take that title there. That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, maybe they'll leave you a blank space there, perhaps.
Cool.
Yeah.
I was going to say he might be leaning on Carly Rae Jepsen for some help to ask Taylor Swift to call him. Maybe, I don't know. And wouldn't that be a nice? My old mate Lockie Mansell messaged me today, and he said you wouldn't fair dinkum believe it. I had to play Carly Rae Jepsen and Call Me Maybe on the radio today. What I responded with can't be relayed on air at this time of the evening, so stick around for the post-race intermission here, boys, and I'll tell you what that's all about. But in saying all of that, I thought, wouldn't that be a nice tie-in to have Carly Rae Jepsen as a lead-in as the opening act for Taylor Swift? Very nicely done. Ryan, obviously a lot more love for the 86 than the Clio.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think my vote for replacing the Clio, there's so many other cars you could choose from that sort of in that production car sort of combo. I probably wouldn't advise a diesel with the Volkswagen, but maybe even if you're going to keep a front-wheel drive, the Kia. But I don't know, it's pretty squirrely as well. I don't know. Just anything other than the Clio.
Well, there's a Cadillac.
Anything other than the Clio.
Cadillac runs as a
there's a
production
Cadillac as well, which is pretty much just another V8 race, which would be a bit of fun.
True.
Oh, well, mate, yeah, why not? I think iRacing need to take a leaf out of Australia's book and get the Hyundai Excel in the iRacing. Yeah, 100%. Could you imagine? I'd be able to watch every Thursday night.
Well, what they're going to do is pretty much just have the Clios and take out 50% power, and that's pretty much the Excels, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure. Chris Whittaker might be able to shine a light on that for us via the comment thread here.
Speaking of Chris Whittaker, and I'm not sure if the championship tables are taking into account all of the drop rounds and bonus points, but
I think it is.
With just saying it's provisional, that's what we've got.
There you go. Oh boy, how about that?
457, Chris Whittaker. Brendan Whittaker, 448. Sam Chapman, 339, with Adam Lavis in 328. In fourth place, Reece Gosner picks up fifth place with the 308, an absent note from his mum tonight. Matt Schmidtke will be happy to find himself in sixth place on 288. Ryan Tegel, 268, Anthony Adshead 240, Sean Rees 206, and Chok Fung Long 200. Nice round number. And
9 points. Are you kidding me? The sweetest 9 points that will ever be enjoyed in Fiji.
Yeah, champagne, bartender, champagne. Very nicely done.
Whichever restaurant they're in at the moment, the patrons are about to cop a bath. Fantastic stuff. Well done, CW. Well done, BW. It's a Whittaker Motorsport 1-2 in the championship. Once again, they seem to have a knack of cleaning up on a Thursday night. Firstly, it was that utter dominance of TCR, and now they've taken that and applied it to the entree in the production cars as well. Very nicely done.
He never misses a beat, does he? Never miss. He probably had that one already typed out, and he just had to hit send.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but see, this is the thing. As Trent Laver so often puts it, CW is still annoyed that his name comes last in the alphabet. So out of the two of them, Brendan and Chris. But that's another story. Well done, CW. Very nicely done. We'll catch up when you're back in the alleged Sunshine State a little bit later on. It was raining actually here a short while ago. I'm just waiting for the inevitable phone call from council saying, because of a sprinkle, we're going to call off all local sporting fixtures for the weekend.
A heavy dew
Ryan,
normally does it round here.
yeah, exactly. Ryan, what's next for you, please? How do you spend the next couple of weeks off, and then what are you looking forward to most next season?
Just practicing, and I'll get back in the production cars if it's back on a Thursday night. But hopefully bolstering up the locked up Sim Sports team a little bit, and we can perform a little bit better as a team. But Sam, I've got to be pretty proud of him. He's taken home third of the championship, so well done to him. I'll pass it over to him.
All right, very nicely done. Thank you, mate. Appreciate that.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Before we go to a break, Sam Chapman, well done.
I knew it again.
Congratulations. Nice performance. Third place in that second race, but by G, you had to work hard for it. Greg Favell charging over like a train, and Adam Lavis. I was a little bit worried about you two being on the same patch of real estate again 2 times in as many weeks after what happened last week.
Yeah, absolutely. It's we've come to blows a couple of times this season. We got away with it through there, but it was close at times. Yeah, great battle towards the end there. It's a lot of fun there tonight. It's just a case of avoiding, damage and all that sort of thing, which I sort of managed to slip through.
And, of course, up 5 spots, which means you started 8th, which means you also finished 3rd in race 1. So a double podium. Nice way to finish.
Yeah, it's a great way to finish. I knew I was coming in on equal points with Adam, and then I saw Reece wasn't in the server, so I thought I better switch on and try and beat him. It was a great finish for the two of them. It was not without issue. I went off a couple of times, but was just able to bring it back together and not hit anyone ahead of me.
Further proof that keeping it clean is easier said than done in this caper. This one make racing, it always throws up some good stuff.
Absolutely does. The 86s are obviously a well-loved one, but all these single-make ones, the MX-5s and that sort of thing, just throw up brilliant racing. It's just loads of fun to be out there because you're always racing. You're not just, there's times where you're trying to just put in laps, but realistically, you've usually got a guy around you.
Well, that's exactly right. But that makes it all, it'd be no fun for any of us, those of you out on the racetrack or those of us in the commentary box, if you're all scattered out all over the place, had no one to play with.
Well, that's just it. And, and you see that in some of the faster capers a little bit more, which I think is what makes it this such good fun. But, yeah, particularly with production cars as well, because, you've got guys that are good at one and not good at the other, and, it really switches it up from week to week.
Indeed. Righto, mate. Hey, quick plug, Sunday, big day.
Yeah, big day Sunday, 8 hours of Bathurst. Liam and I will be on it from, I think, usually at 11, so I'll better check the time on that.
Race starts at 11:30.
It's at 11:30. Well, tell me 11, so that way I'm on time. So that'll be good. The finale of the season, I think there's been a couple of extra entries as well. Looking forward to that.
There always is. Yep, exactly. Very nicely done, mate. Thank you for that. Have fun. We wish you well for that and the 2-week break, and then we look forward to seeing you back on all cylinders at the start of next season.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. Looking forward to it.
Quick break and back. The Whitakers have cleaned up with the production cars. Can Denchi complete his half dozen Porsche Elite Cup titles with victory in this final round at the Red Bull Ring and secure yet another piece of GSRC history? Of course, he's already a 6-time GT3 champion. He wrapped that up not 72 hours ago. We'll wait and see if he can clean up the Porsches as well on the other side, despite Corey Lazarus's best efforts. 3-race grand finale coming away from the Red Bull Ring on the other side. It is Thursday Night Motorsport for the final time in Term 2 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Don't go away. Running very tight for time off the top tonight at the start of the main course of the final edition of Thursday Night Motorsport on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for Season 13 or Term 2 of 2023. And it's all made possible with thanks to all the great people scrolling across the top and the bottom of your screen, including, of course, Blackout Electrical Solutions, the naming rights sponsor of the Porsche Cup. We are going to bring that to you in just a few moments' time. 12 races down, 3 to go. This is round 10, and it's our now traditional super sprint format to finish the season. Matty Dench comes in with a slender advantage at the top end of the tree in the points race. And we are very familiar with the Red Bull Ring here in Austria on the back of the GT3 finale here on Monday night. Excuse me, folks, I've got a frog in the throat. But we'll persevere for the next 90 minutes or so. We've got a 15-minute race first up. We've got a 20-minute race second up. We've got a 35-minute race third up tonight to crown our champion. The margin that Denchi has to play with, it's 32 points. 473 plays 441, 368 for Shane Wright, 331 for Kai Ardley, and 318 for Samuel Sproul. In the open race, also well and truly on the line here, 20 points the margin that Jeff Adams has to play with over Paul Wilson. Adam Lavis has 9 points on Richard King, and then Stephen Gallich is out of the fight. So too Chuk Fung Wong, Callum Heinrich, Kurt Chapman, Sean Rees, and Joe Baldwin. The Red Bull Ring in Austria is a 4.3 kilometre circuit. We know it for its open and flowing and fast nature. There are a lot of overtaking opportunities around here, but it is not the easiest place to consolidate. Executing overtaking manoeuvres, one thing, but consolidating them and capitalising and actually covering them off, completely different story. Matty Dench and Samuel Sproul the front row, Corey Lazarus, John Merritt the second row. Have a look at Hotline. Ben Pedersen and Aaron Cooper the third row, Andrew Smith and Dylan Shepard the fourth, Guy Leach, Brett Barker the fifth, Richard King from row 6 alongside Jeff Adams and Joe Baldwin, Alex Schmidt, Dane Snadden, Anthony Visma, Paul Wilson, Sean Rees, Adam Lavis and Tony Baker take us back to 20th. Chuk Fung Wong, Nick Wood, Callum Heinrich, John Baldwin, Stephen Gallicher, Kurt Chapman, Chris Stark and Shane Newens make up the field. No Mitch McIntyre, no Jonathan Hooper, no Stephen Brooks. Get set for a start, Australia. The final night of the term. The final 3 races of the campaign for the Porsches. Off and racing at the Red Bull Ring. Beautiful start. Converted off the line nicely from Matty Dench. Sporting new colours tonight. The red and the blue leads us to turn 1. Oh, trouble. That's why.
Andrew
Trading
Smith.
Paints is uploading halfway through the opening lap. So bear with us there.
Andrew Smith.
Same colours. Same colours for Matty Dench. It's taken us a little while to wake up to it. There we go.
Oh, there's a touch.
Finally clicking it again. There's a touch between the two championship contenders. They're throwing wide down the back straight for the first time. This wasn't in the script. Lazarus and Sproul, Swamp on Dench and Patterson's in there as well. The elbows are out early. These guys know that they're up against it. They know that they've got the arduous, challenging, tough assignment of trying to stop Dench in his tracks. But they're going to leave nothing on the table here. They're going to throw everything at it. Dench back down the inside to go to third. On the inside of Pedersen, job done, covered it off. And wide. Lazarus opens the door and Dench is back through. Unbelievable. Dench on the comeback trail on the opening lap. They're side by side up the hill for the first time. Lazarus is going to dive back down the inside to turn 8. Down the inside he goes and gets it done. They're very generous with track limits here at the Red Bull Ring.
Oh, not anymore. Both those
Samuel
corners.
Sproul has bolted, Grant.
Both those corners, you just barely get all 4 off the onto the green, and that's an X tipped up straight away.
Off at 1. Wide at 1 goes Ben Pedersen, out of the business, out of the fight. Made a rod for his own back now. The next race is the interesting one for mine. 20 laps in an invert situation. Invert top 10. We wait to see what that'll deliver. Sproul the leader, 1.1 to the good. That could be good enough if he can maintain some sort of consistent pace here. Back we go to the race leader, Samuel Sproul. It is under investigation, the incident between cars 20 and 747 on the opening lap. 20, Tony Baker. 747, Chuk Fung Wong. The opening lap incident under investigation. 1:36.9, the best of the laps out of the blocks for Samuel Sproul. I don't need... Oh, that's why. They've come undone, coming out of 4 and 5 and
just
taking
flipped
an
someone
innocent
as well.
inadvertent bystander as well. Now, it's interesting too because this race, the maths are pretty simple, Grant. The maths are... Whoa, car off in the background there. John Merritt up the inside of Corey Lazarus, who was really wide coming out of the right-hander. Merritt goes to 4th. Maths are pretty simple. 90 seconds a lap, 15-minute race, 10 laps. Unless the safety car gets thrown, in which case that does throw a spanner in the works. But they're the numbers. That's what we're sticking with. Denchi 1 minute 32.048, fastest number of the night so far, having got by Aaron Cooper. Merritt, after moments ago getting by Corey Lazarus, now falls foul of the final corner. So Pedersen, Lazarus, Merritt have all slipped up early. Cooper's going with Dench. They're all trying to track Samuel Sproul down. Now, it's also under investigation, the incident between John Baldwin and Kurt Chapman. Up the outside, trucker Joe, the best placed of the open split thus far. Updating you as well. Big Thursday night of sport right around the country, right around the world. In fact, we've got Women's State of Origin up and away in Townsville. We've got the Women's Ashes underway. Their test match, none for 28 thus far, the Aussies, having won the toss and opting to bat first. GMHBA Stadium is hosting the AFL tonight, and they've just gone to, I think you'll find the halftime break or somewhere around there. 32-31 in favour of Melbourne over Geelong at the moment. And the Women's State of Origin will also be at the halftime interval by now, I would imagine. And I'll update you on that as soon as the score comes back on the television screen. But yes, a very tantalising Thursday night of sport. Well worth the late start tomorrow morning, the early alarm. The early finish in the early hours of the morning. If you've got an early alarm for work, just power on through.
We'll just talk to Antonio Trezor about early alarms.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome, mate.
And welcome to him as well, 6:30 in the morning over there in New York. It's making him hungry, the KFC car of Joe Baldwin. KFC for breakfast, I've done that once or twice in the past. Not
Cold
bad.
out of the fridge?
No, I need to heat it up. No. I'm not one of those. No. I can't do cold pizza either. I just, no.
Joe Baldwin leading the open class there, so he's sitting in 8th place outright. So this week's working so far so good for Joe. Brett Barker and Guy Leach having a ding-dong battle, and Matty Dench has made his way through. So what happened to Samuel Sproul? Let me see if I can pick that up, because Sproul's dropped out. He's been off track. And we'll have a look here, see where it's brought him undone. And he'll just loop it on the exit, I think. There you go.
Caught the sausage curb.
What's that? Turn
every day of the week.
4, 5.
That's turn 4, yeah. just at the top of the,
So
turn 4 at the top of the hill.
Matthew
so
fastest lap of the race, 1:31.4, 4 tenths faster than just about anyone else.
And now in the lead as well. It's important to note. So something's happened there, because Samuel Sproul,
that's what we just
was
saw.
the race leader, and So whilst we were looking at that, those replays, that had actually happened live. So therefore, Matty Dench, the seas have somewhat parted for him.
Yep.
He was under assault in the opening part of the race, and then now he's got clear air. Aaron Cooper's going with him, and that's about it.
Chicken and waffles, my friends, is a great breakfast. If you haven't tried it, trust Antonio. You'll love it.
Coffee's about the only thing I have for breakfast these days. Matty Dench, Aaron Cooper, Corey Lazarus, Brett Barker, and Guy Leach. It's a log jam, isn't it? And it's Samuel Sproul at the front of it with Richard King, Alex Schmidt, Ben Pedersen, Dane Snudden, Joe Baldwin, Jeff Adams, Paul Wilson, John Merritt. There's a battle pack of 2 battle packs of 3, and then a battle pack of 5 or 6. Very good to see. Now, updating the Women's State of Origin, Queensland 14 leading New South Wales 6, and there's 35 minutes to play in the second half there. It is just about to kick off. Adam Lavis now all over the back of, down there in 24th place, Kurt Chapman, and there's battles aplenty right around the racetrack at the moment. Andrew Smith down 20 spots. Chuk Fung Wong down 5. Adam Lavis down 6. There's been some big losers so far tonight. John Merritt down 11. There's been some big gains as well. Up 6 for Brett Barker. 4 each for Cooper and Leach. 2 for Shepherd. 3 for King. 5 for Schmidt. 3 for Baldwin. 4 for Snadden. And also beyond that, 5 for Nick Wood, 6 for Stephen Gallacher, 5 for Shane Newens as well. We've lost Chris Stark early in the piece. We're down to 27 of the 28 that started. We've got John Merritt sitting there in 15th, nipping at the heels of the next best place, Ben Pedersen. Those two in the pro split trying to get their way back through past some of these open guys and trying to fight their way back into it.
Open setups, I think, isn't it, Zach, for Antonio there?
That's a very good question. You'd have to ask Adam Lavis. He's the master of setup.
I'll have a look there.
I just do play-by-play. I've no expert insight whatsoever. Down they go.
I believe it's open setup.
Yep. So basically, just to summarise what I was, because I got my words jumbled up there earlier, just to summarise what I was saying earlier, don't bother setting your alarm for tomorrow morning. Get the coffee brewing. Stay up all night. Watch all the sport. It goes till about 3 a.m. The women's Ashes in England. Burn the candle at both ends. Do whatever you have to do to absorb as much sport as you can throughout the course of the next 6 or 7 weeks, because it's all going to be bloody superb. In fact, next week, or it might be the week after the women's test match, they move into the T20s and the one days, of course. And one of those T20s follows a day of play in the Ashes men's test match. So you've got cricket from 7:30 to 3:30 a.m. and then cricket again from 3:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. Yes, please, sign me up. This is what happened to Ben Pedersen's second time round. Reese is coming down to the end of the back straight. He's going to get a helping hand here, is he?
There was an investigation between Joe and Ben, but we haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to jump out there.
Copy. 14-6, the women's state of origin. Not sure which one to keep an eye on tonight, right? There's that much on. I've only got one spare monitor. Down the main straight we go. That's John Merritt in 14th place, doing John Merritt things, trying to fight his way back through.
And he's right on the tail of Ben Pedersen, who is right on the tail of Jeff Adams. And Jeff Adams will be just going, would you boys just leave me alone for a moment? I've got a championship to win here and neither of you two are in it. Exactly.
There's always those equations, those scenarios playing out on the final night of school, isn't there? Because we always have guys that turn up just to be a contender in that, or be a factor in that race. They can be a spanner in the works as far as championship contenders are concerned, though. Cameo appearances, I like to call them. We're not in the race, but we are in the race, if you know what I mean.
Yes.
Matty Dench leads Aaron Cooper by 2 seconds. Corey Lazarus is third. We're on lap 7 of 10. We're about to complete lap 7. Matty Dench with 3 laps to go when they get to the line. Aaron Cooper next best place, and Corey Lazarus is nipping at his heels. Dylan Shepherd's got Brett Barker, Guy Leach, Samuel Sproul, and Richard King all for company at the moment, and King the best place to the open split. Then Alex Schmidt and Joe Baldwin, then Jeff Adams, Ben Pedersen, John Merritt. That's the top 13 as it sits at the moment as they head through to complete yet another lap.
So Richard King's got through on Joe Baldwin there. Well, I imagine it's Joe and not John. It is Joe. I'll have to see if I can pull that one up. Yes, it's a bit like that, Antonio. It's you can come back and look at it any time you like, and Dench will be leading. It's
especially if it's Monday or a Thursday. Yeah.
Here comes Corey Lazarus on Aaron Cooper.
On the inside. Got him. Covered it off beautifully. Well done, Corey Lazarus. Up in a second. Now he's doing everything he needs to do to keep Dench at bay in the points race. Now here comes Cooper back down the inside. They're side by side, almost rubbing panels, rubbing doors down there. Cooper back down the inside. Cooper will want to get across and cover Lazarus off and does so. Oh, that was technically brilliant from Cooper. Red Bull Ring 101.
Oh, these three
because
are still
so many times we see, that's not going to work. Caesar going to part for John Merritt. He's up 2 spots. Thanks for coming. But that right there is the point. So many times here at the Red Bull Ring, if you go through the inside at turn 5, you get hung out to dry at turn 7 right there. You get hung out to dry and you cannot finish capitalising on your overtaking opportunity. You can't cement it. But what Cooper did there in getting by Lazarus, that's how it's got to be done. You've got to go a little bit deeper to move across and get wide and cover off that defensive inside line for the next corner. Now here's Lazarus having another crack.
You'll want a good run out of here. Good run out of here to get the spot at the top of the hill. Into third or fourth as he comes round there, probably into third. And really wanted to get the drive up the hill so he can stick it down as the inside of Cooper here, but Cooper seems to be loving this track. There we go, right in the back of him. He'll try and force an error. Gotta watch. You see the car wiggle under acceleration. You're right on the limit there because you're coming from such a slow speed and giving it everything you've got. Oh, Scotty would be proud of it. He wouldn't have any more for you, Captain. Down the inside, little touch. Cooper a little bit loose.
Corey Lazarus. That wasn't just getting the elbows out. That was the full arm and shoulder to go with it.
Yes,
My
indeed.
goodness. He just pushes, barges Aaron Cooper out of the way and says, "Excuse me, sir, I'm coming through."
Oh, I don't think he even said that. He just...
No, actually, no, it wasn't as polite as that. We tidied it up for him. That's true. That is true. Through they come again.
So this is just a look here, down into the inside here, braking on the downhill, really fractious. A big netcode, big netcode on that, but they survived to live another day and have another dig next time round, I should think. Samuel Sproul right here on Guy Leach. Oh, look at the speed he's got out of there. There's a little wiggle on the back of Leach's car as well as Sproul just gives it. I tell you what, these Blackout boys have taken their cranky pills tonight, haven't they? They're all over it tonight.
I'll tell you what. This is
around he goes.
Off we go.
Leach.
There goes Guy Leach. Lit it up too vigorously on the exit of 1 and went stage right. Kept it off the wall, kept it on the track, but drops to 7th. Matty Dench came here with a job to do, and that was just hold off Corey Lazarus, fend him off, keep him at bay, get the job done. And now he's getting some assistance from Aaron Cooper to assist with the task, because Lazarus has finished up 4 seconds behind Dench. Nowhere in the fight for the top step of the podium here on the final lap of race 1. But I tell you what, Grant, if this is what we're seeing in race 1, invert the top 10 in a few moments' time. The gloves are going to be off and the fireworks are going to be aplenty. There is going to be something very special about this next 25 minutes or so.
And then, of course, the final race. There's a third race. Yes, folks, don't go to bed after the second race. There's a final race, and it's double points. So look out for that. That's going to be an absolute cracker. And if you thought the Blackout boys were feisty this time, they will leave no stone unturned to try and get through.
Matty Dench keeps doing what Matty Dench does best. Gets the job done at the Red Bull Ring in race 1 of the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup Grand Finale for Term 2 of 2023. Corey Lazarus second, Aaron Cooper third, then Dylan Shepard and Brett Barker. Samuel Sproul, Guy Leach, Alex Schmidt, Ben Pedersen, John Merritt made up the top 10 as far as the overall elite split was concerned, but Richard King proves to be the spanner, the thorn in John Merritt's side by finishing 7th outright as the best placed open split car. He'll start 4th for the next race. And Ben Pedersen will get the invert up into P1. And we saw what he did with that at Long Beach. So we cannot wait to see what he does with it here over 20 minutes. And of course, it's important to note this is a sprint race, this second one as well, folks. The longer race, the 35-minute race, will be the Splash and Dash feature. Although there was some talk about that with fuel mileage and whatnot, whether you can make it on 1 stop or 2. That was the query for Adam Lavis earlier in the day. Oh boy.
Yes, indeed.
Waste Options, we thank them for their ongoing support of the platforms, the Gentleman Sim Racing Club also. Blackout Electrical Solutions. Login Systems. Astute. Insurance, Finance and Wealth in East Brisbane. Fisher and Door Lawyers. Flash Graphics. Now, the other point as well, worth noting here, when we are done technically after this one for the season, folks, but the season itself isn't done because even though Grant and I won't be here, the boys will be back on Sunday for the 5th and final round of the Login Systems GT3 Endurance Championship. As far as semester 1 is concerned, 8 hours around Mount Panorama coverage from 11:30 a.m. for that one, so join the boys for that. Keep your notifications enabled for the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to be alerted when we go live so that you don't miss a minute of the action. And of course, if you want any merch ahead of the new season, GSRC.merch.myshopify.com is the place to go. There's the grid for the second race. We're ready to rock and roll again from Austria. The invert grid of the top 10. Let's wait for fireworks. We ensue it now. Let's go.
Interesting little note there. Fuel is incorrect in the setup. This might be a stop. It's 28% instead of 38%.
Oh, okay. So this 20-minute race might...
some
Oh,
other
no, more trouble! Dang, all three of them gone! And I'm pretty sure one of them might have been Corey Lazarus. There is carnage at the Red Bull Ring. Oh, boy. Championship defining moment there because Corey Lazarus has dropped down to 14th. Can you believe that? Now, will they deploy the safety car? Or will they let this run? Will they let this fly? I think they're letting it go. Carnage out of turn 1. We predicted it. Probably not that early in the piece, but we predicted it. 26 minutes for this race too, by the by, ladies and gentlemen. 1 extra minute on the clock.
Let's see what we can pick out of
Well,
all
actually,
that. That's showing Tony Baker and Dane Snadden with 2 of the crashes.
Yeah.
And then
Can I just be perfectly honest as well?
Oh, there's a bump there.
Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3. See you later.
Yep.
And that was secondary to what was going on up ahead of it.
Yeah. Oh, Starkey has not had much of a night of it. He comes back for a guest appearance, stays out of trouble of everyone. I'm all right here. I'll just sneak up the inside.
3, 2, 1.
And then
Bang.
I'll just might call it a night at that. So that was Aaron Cooper off the track.
Oh, yeah. Ben Pedersen leads, Alex Schmidt, Samuel Sproul third, then Richard King maintains fourth, Guy Leach back to fifth, Dylan Shepard up to sixth, Dench up to seventh, Merritt up to eighth, Sean Rees up 8 spots to ninth, and up into 10th spot, also up 9 spots is Anthony Visma. Corey Lazarus is 11th at the moment, made the rod for his own back with the carnage that ensued there out of turn 1. And it was him who lit up the tyres and went stage left and took a bit of company with him, unfortunately. Really not the start he was looking for. Adam Lavis started from pit lane as well. It's important to note he stopped there for 11.4 seconds. So whether that was tactical because he was up to tricks knowing about the fuel situation or not, we wait to see. Aaron Cooper, Corey Lazarus,
just
and
jumped
there
over
it was.
that sausage. Yeah. That
Bang.
triggered it.
That's just a racing incident, unfortunately.
You'd have
There's
to
nothing
think
you can
so.
do about that.
Yeah.
And now, I just want to alert everybody's attention to what's going on there at the top of the screen. Ignore that garbage, because, well,
Which one's that?
where it's saying
it's already
14
there.
laps or 26 minutes, it will be 14 laps. Time certainly won't even be a factor here. Car off, driver's left, coming through the left-hander. Into the right-hander. I didn't see who it was.
Visma.
It's well out of view. It's Anthony Visma. He's done. Oh, boy. Carnage aplenty here. Can you believe the start to this race? But yes, it'll be... that's it, Grant. Well done. 3 or 14. It will be 14 laps, this one. There's no doubt about that. Corey Lazarus and Aaron Cooper deemed a racing incident, and not surprisingly, we predicted that. Important to note that 14 laps will get us to just over that 21-minute threshold. Then we'll get a 35-minute feature that will see the field cut loose around the Red Bull Ring for the final race of the campaign, the final race of the season. Now, I don't want to be a betting man here, Grant, but if Denchi finishes in a decent spot in relation to Corey Lazarus, I'm going to take a stab and say that it'll be done in this race, the championship, even though we've got double points on the line in the next race.
You're not putting yourself too far out on a limb with that one. I think even though maths isn't a strong suit, never
Exactly,
was.
thank you.
I think
Never
that's
will be.
pretty sure. Visma and Baldwin, we saw Visma take a long path through the gravel trap. Someone else has locked it up a little bit there. But Joe Baldwin not having the second race to go with his first, down 10 spots. Alex Schmidt up front has got the fastest lap of the race, 32.67. So he's not too far away from Ben Pedersen up front. Joe's going to stick it in around the outside and keep going through there. And so, there's that John Merritt having a little wander through the sand trap there. These two really having a good go. Corey Lazarus just sets the fastest lap, a 31.28. So he is on a massive charge.
Indeed he is. Round they come onto the main straight again.
Might have been Tony Baker having that moment. Oh, look at this gaggle in front. This is Shepherd, Leach.
Oh, deep dive, but they somehow gathered it up and kept it clean. Wow. Oh, boy. Dylan Shepherd, I think it was, making the deep lunge. Denchi wide. Dench is wide. Back to 7th he goes. Dench has put 2 wheels off and gone a little bit too deep. Corey Lazarus is 9th. They're the championship contenders. Dench under pressure from Merritt. Trying to find a way back by Guy Leach. So both of our championship contenders have given themselves a little bit of an invoice and done themselves some disservice here in the opening laps. We're on lap 4. Oh, boy.
So this was...
My vocal cords are going to enjoy the 2-week break, Grant.
This is a sequence of Dench passing Leach, Leach passing Dench, Dench passing Shepherd. So down in the corner we come. Oh, he just dived down the outside because he was going to give Ben Pedersen, I think, was it? Or no, that would have been Dylan Shepherd. He was going to give him a right old rogering there, but jumped out of it just at the moment of perfection to avoid that and not bring anyone undone. There's Matthew Dench past Richard King this time. Richard again is running in the AM split or the open split, and he just wants Denchy to move through. He wouldn't mind if Johnny Merritt did the same thing and just left him alone for a little while.
2 points of interest here. 14-12 Queensland over New South Wales in Women's State of Origin at the moment. Nice.
Down the inside, Schmidt.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant move. And Alex Schmidt finds his way to the front. These two have been duking it out from the outset. They're 2 seconds clear of the rest of the pack. Rail Shepherd, Dench is back up in the 50s, wasted no time in getting back onto the to the heels of Dylan Shepherd. There's a 5-second penalty coming for Andrew Smith for contact with Joe Baldwin on the opening lap. That explains why Joe's so far down the order. Oh, it's all happening at the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, Women's State of Origin, far better contest than the men's. 14-12, they're in favour of the Queenslanders at the moment, and there's 18 minutes to play.
Did the Blues actually turn up for this one, did they?
They did, surprisingly. They had to travel a lot further to do it too. They're in Townsville. Yeah. But secondly, for all the kiddies out there that are wondering what the term rogering means, just wait until after the broadcast to ask your parents about all that one, please.
Probably
down the main straight we go once more. Matty Dench is all over the back of Dylan Shepherd once more. So we're on lap 6 of 14 here. And remembering that we've got a 35-minute race where this came from at the end of the 14 laps of race 2. So Joe Baldwin into pit lane. Now, is this for incident points or is it for a little splash and dash?
I wonder. 6 of 14. Yeah, to quote the great Kenny Everett, who he might even be a bit before your time, a terrific British comedian, and one of his little gags was Roy Rogers. Well, doesn't everyone? But we'll leave that alone as well.
Very nice.
It's one for the old folk.
Absolutely.
It's in Benny Hill's era.
Simpler times. Simpler times. All right. Antonio chiming in. The 2023 GT500 Mustang or the 2023 Charger Hellcat Red Eye. Which one would you prefer?
You're not talking about iRacing either, are you, Antonio? You're just a little humble brag there.
I'd go the GT Mustang if I was Antonio. 100%. How good is it going to be? Now, Ford are bringing a Mustang GT3 into the world of motorsport, aren't they? So hopefully that means we can get rid of that stupid bloody GT that's currently representing the Henry at the moment and bring in the GT3. That's iRacing's next big move. Now, Denchy, all over the back of Shepherd, can't find a way by. Sproul's there as well. So the two teammates will work together here and do their best to try and keep the number one at bay.
Oh, here comes Pedersen. He's going to have a big look at him here. And in perhaps the world's weirdest marketing move, Ford is releasing an electric SUV, which they're calling the Mustang. Just unbelievable.
Yeah. Nothing makes sense as far as electric vehicles are concerned for me, Grant.
I guess the marketing team was out to lunch, a very, very long lunch that day.
Essentially the same long lunch that the people at Stan were on when they come up with the name of Revealed for Renee Gracie's upcoming documentary series. But anyway,
Look at Dench.
less about that the better. Dylan Shepherd and Dench on the charge here. Dench to the outside. Dench around the outside. Can he get this done? Denchy!
Oh, there's a touch.
Denchy, there is a touch, but Denchy's still there.
It's not going
And
away.
Dench, by just sticking there a little bit longer, Grant, will get down the inside and get the job done on Dylan Shepherd.
Oh, and just tucks across the nose just to say, you're not having another go at me there.
Good luck keeping him at bay, Samuel Sproul. That's your next mission. Now, we've missed Corey Lazarus dropping back to 7th in all of this as well. Can he latch on? He's about 1.2 seconds away from John Merritt. There he is, top of shot. Here goes Denchy in the meantime down the inside of Sproul. How easy was that? Oh, talk is cheap in this game. But one thing remains the same, and that is that Matty Dench is the master of the craft. The king of the cream of the crop, the king of the class. The ducks of the school. And he's back up into 3rd place once more.
Thought you're going to break out in top of the hill, New York, New York.
Not yet, too early in the night.
That's for Antonio to do.
Alex Schmidt, Ben Pedersen, 1 and 2, and Dench closing in at a rapid rate of knots, and we've still got 6 laps to go next time by the line.
So this was Corey Lazarus passing Guy Leach for P8, so he got pushed back quite a bit earlier than that. And then he got back past, so that brought him back in the 7th.
Richard King is 8th, leader of the open split. Cooper, Adams, Wilson, then Wood and Heinrich and Snadden and Leach make up the top 15. Guy Leach with that early moment has dropped down 12 spots on where he started. But easy as you like, Denchy made that one stick pretty bloody quickly on Dylan Shepherd and also on Samuel Sproul. Wasted no time at all. Now Sproul in all of that has dropped back to 6th. Merritt has got up into 5th. Shepherd is still 4th. Down the main straight we go. Corey Lazarus 7th up on the outside. Got by Samuel Sproul. Job done. I reckon there's a little bit of gamesmanship going on. No, Sproul started around. He's looped it at 1. Sproul drops down to 8th now. And it might be 9th. It might be, yep, it is 10th. Jeff Adams and Aaron Cooper also go sailing on by. Oh, it's all come undone for Samuel Sproul, and Dench down the inside of Patterson to go to 2nd. Dench to 2nd. I told you this one was going to be good.
Oh, it's nowhere near early enough on the brakes. Yeah, he had to check up a little bit there, and Dench getting by Pedersen. Top of the hill, cream of the crop.
At the end race,
Pedersen is checked
delivering
up.
us. Yeah, I see what's happened. Yeah, he was
by
trying
Alex
to get by Schmidt and got checked up.
Yep.
So Dench down the inside made it look as easy as you like. Now look at the logjam in behind. Shepherd, Pedersen, Merritt, Lazarus, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Lazarus fast lap of the race, 1:31.275.
Look out,
He
Alex.
might have got by Samuel Sproul pretty easily, but he was going to have a tough time of it trying to get by the likes of Merritt and Pedersen and Shepherd. And Denchy is all over the back of Alex Schmidt like a cheap suit here.
Look at the drive he gets off there. The drive he got through
up
there.
the final corner. Straight down the inside and nothing Alex Schmidt can do about that. Almost sailing on by as though he is standing still. With no disrespect to Alex Schmidt, Matty Dench just pulled that off with consummate ease. We are getting an Austrian classic here, but on a circuit where you don't normally execute your overtaking opportunities that easily. Matty Dench is making a mockery of it.
It's back past him, Schmidt.
Oh, he got him.
And in behind, the Lazarus has made up to 3rd place.
Oh boy, take a breath.
Yes, indeed. So
this
is the pack of Lazarus, Merritt, Pedersen and Shepherd. It's 3 of the Blackout boys. Down the inside, Merritt he's in a Blackout sandwich. And so that is Lazarus into 3rd place. Very nicely done.
Schmidt is putting up a stoic sort of performance here. Staunch defense on Dench at the moment, and this is what I was getting at. Dench has made light work of most of the field, but now he's going to face a little bit of a challenge for Alex Schmidt, because now we're going to see more trademark Red Bull Ring type racing here, where you might have a crack for executing an overtaking opportunity, but consolidating it is a completely different kettle of fish, a completely different ball game. Down the outside this time to turn one. Schmidt back down the inside to hold sway to the first corner. And now Dench looking for a good run off that curb and the line, the slipstream, the drag down the back straight. Oh boy. Hold your breath, Australia. Dench is leading the championship fight. Lazarus is there in third place. 1:31.2, the fastest over the race for Corey Lazarus. Dench a 1:31.6, a 1:33.2 last time around. They're all aware of the situation. The times have dropped off dramatically.
Fuel saving. Only lap 11 of 14. So yeah, like you say, it's become very clear to them, I think, that this is there's two parts to this race. It's being in front of the bloke next year, but saving enough fuel to get home.
Oh boy.
Have a look at the class results, and Richard King leading out Jeff Adams and Paul Wilson. Paul Wilson didn't have the best first race. Jeff Adams came into tonight leading the event, and Richard King is he's about 63 points behind Jeff Adams, so if Jeff holds it there, he'll be looking in good stead. Looks like, is that Dench into the pits? Someone into the pits?
No, it's Alex Schmidt. Alex Schmidt is into the pit lane. And thus ends the defence. Dench is released into the wild again.
Well, he's got
a chasing pack. Lazarus, Merritt and Pedersen.
He's got to a point where he said, no, I can't get home. I'm going to take a gamble on the other boys not being able to get there as well, and I'll be the first to pit last, as our mate Nick Fodiatis loves to talk about. But between Merritt and Pedersen, look at those two side by side again. Can they get home without stopping? Is that a master stroke by Schmidt?
You want the good news or the bad news, Grant?
I hate bad news. Give me the good news.
The good news is someone's won Powerball tonight, but it was only one person.
Well, I haven't got a phone
$100 million. The bad news is it's probably not me. Oh, talk about not wanting to share. $100 million for one person. My goodness.
Paul Wilson's just got by
congratulations to whoever it is.
Oh, yeah.
And enjoy giving the boss the nicest get-you-know-what call you've ever done in your life tomorrow morning as well, I'd imagine.
Wave the driving
Matty Dench leads. Corey Lazarus second. We're on lap 12. The masters of the craft of fuel saving are being put to the test right here at the Red Bull Ring. 2 laps to go at the line. Dench the leader.
Lazarus in, Pedersen in. Merritt goes around
Lazarus
again.
and Pedersen both in. Lazarus and Pedersen both in. My goodness. My goodness. If Dench can limp this home, I don't care if it's on the smell of an oily rag. If Dench can limp this home, Grant Gill, it's title number 6. And that is uncharted territory for anybody on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club.
He is wringing that oily rag as tight as he can to get a few extra drops, because he was clutching before the ripple strip on the outside there. That's how early. But Corey Lazarus is dropping back into 15th place now. Big clutch again from that. Can he make it? Will he do it? Can John Merritt, who's tucked on his rear bumper as well? Not sure John's a big fan of fuel saving, but he'll do it if he has to.
Absolutely he will. They'll all do it if they have to.
And of course, race 3 is starting with this finishing order, the finishing order of this race.
That's right.
So
invert top 10 race 1 to race 2 and then progressive grid from there, yeah.
So let's see if he can get through this extra part of the lap. He's got a very nice little app there that tells him exactly how his fuel's going. In he goes around.
Of course he does. If anyone's going to run the gauntlet and thread the needle, it's this guy, M. Dench. 1 lap to go. 1 lap separates this guy and title number 6. Forget about the third race. I can't see him being stopped on points at this particular stage.
So it seems
extraordinary stuff.
Jeff Adams has come into the pits. Oh, Jeff Adams, Nick Wood, Ben Pedersen, they're all into the pits. They weren't going to make it either. So it seemed the Blackout boys were all in need of that pit stop. So the setup they had or the driving style didn't allow them to do it. But let's see how far down the pack that puts Jeff Adams. Looks like everyone else, Nick Wood, Adam Lavis, they're into the pits as well. So Jeff will be all right there. Adam Maverick's been in and out and got by him.
I did win $20, however, Grant.
Oh, good. Congratulations.
The Powerball.
Your shout.
Division 8.
Your shout.
Yeah, exactly. Division 8. I'll take everybody out for, a biscuit.
A dry biscuit.
That's all you can afford. Yeah. By the time you bought a couple of packets of Sayos for however many members, we got 400 odd members. You'd probably be out of money and then some. Matty Dench, however, speaking of winning, he's going to win more than $20. He's going to win title number 6 to go with the 6 GT3 titles. Dench has his dozen. Last turn, checkered flag. Forget about the third race. It's just a matter of formalities now. Dench wins at the Red Bull Ring. Dench wins the Blackout Electrical Solutions Porsche Cup for the 6th time. Dench cements his status as an immortal in GSRC circles.
And Corey Lazarus will finish in 21st spot, or 11th overall. 11th in Elite Cup, but 21st spot after that pit stop.
Yeah, and you know why, Grant? It was a 44-second stop. He got done with a stop and hold. He got done with the stop and hold.
We've seen that before.
So there's your sting in the tail.
Yep.
There's your championship-defining moment right there. Everybody else around him, 4 or 5 seconds, no worry in the world. But 44 seconds, and it'll be for his pit entry. It won't be, or his speed, one or the other. It doesn't matter because the championship is done.
Corey Lazarus entered pit lane. Let's see if it's too wide on the entry. Didn't slow down enough. He's right with him there. Yeah, he'll cross that line, and that line is death. Oh, he had to take the chance.
Outside of suicide, as they say.
Yeah, he had to take the chance, but great racing once again. How good is Thursday night racing?
Absolutely. Magnificent stuff. It delivers in spades yet again. Dench, Lazarus, Cooper, Shepherd, Barker, and Sproul, the top 6. Leach, Schmidt in behind that as far as the open, or the elite split is concerned, rather. The outright split, Schmidt, Pedersen, and Merritt made up the top 10. So Johnny obviously fell foul of something there in the backstages as well.
No, he didn't. Yeah, so maybe he had a slow down that he didn't clear.
Or an incident points or something. Yeah. Richard King, the best of the open split again. Jeff Adams, Joe Baldwin, and Paul Wilson. Then Tony Baker, Sean Rees, Stephen Gallacher, Nick Wood, Callum Heinrich, and Adam Lavis. Now we wait to see who wins the open split championship, because Denchi's won the elite split once more. It's a dozen. It's 6 GT3s. It's 6 Porsche GT3s. The master of the craft. The legend just continues to grow.
It does indeed. I mean,
it is just extraordinary what this guy's racked up in this club's history.
We've just got to be thankful that he likes hanging around, because he continues to set the benchmark. He's that rotten bloke at the high jump that keeps moving the pole a little bit higher and says, "All right, come and get me." So well done to Matthew, and he's going to have to get a bigger house to put all those lovely little shiny P1s on the wall, because they'll be halfway down the corridor at this point in time. There's trophies. 7 o'clock at night,
fact,
Zach.
actually,
Look at that, 7 o'clock at night in the Styrian Hills of Spielberg.
Yeah, I'll get to that in a moment.
I'll just keep throwing them out there. You're real.
I've got to get all the jabs in while I can, Grant, because the season's about to be done. But it's important to note that not only will he have to consider building new cabinets and shelves to facilitate all the trophies, he might as well just put an extra room on the house. At the moment, it is just extraordinary what Denchi's achieving. So, yes, 7:04 local time. In fact, 7:05 local time there in the Styrian Hills, June 21, 2023. 20 degrees and 22 on track. They're the temperatures, cloudy conditions. Humidity sitting there nicely at about 18%. But more importantly, daylight and sunset nowhere in sight. What a surprise. Talk about... So it might be A, because they observe daylight saving, and B, because they're progressive and civilised. Who'd have thought? And on that note, we wouldn't have, if the first test was being played at the Gabba, right? We wouldn't have got the result we got. It would have been a draw, called off for bad light because it finished at 7:20 local time. We don't get daylight at 7:20 local time in the middle of summer. Final one of the season: Matty Dench, John Merritt, Dylan Shepherd, Richard King, Samuel Sproul, Guy Leach, Alex Schmidt, Aaron Cooper, Andrew Smith, and Ben Pedersen are the top 10 on the grid for the final one of the season. And it's important to note as the field is unleashed and we're off and racing now. John Merritt, a beautiful start. Matty Dench has missed the start completely. He's been swamped. Down the inside goes Shepherd and Sproul to turn one. Merritt lights it up coming out of turn one. And now Dylan Shepherd wants to put the foot to the throat from the outset here and lead the field down the hill for the first time. Yeah, important to note that the best two things going for Queensland at the moment, because they don't observe daylight saving, Grant, are their state of origin team and the road out of the state. But that's another story for another day. Down out of turn 3 for the first time, and on the run down to 4. Shepherd and Merritt have bolted. They've split from the rest of the pack. Sproul, Dench, Leach, Cooper and Schmidt, the top 7.
Look out, John Merritt. Here he comes. Cold tyres into this braking downhill, off canvas slightly, just tucks it in, winds it round. He'll be out to give him a hell of a race here, right up until the point where Matty Dench climbs up from his current 5th spot and takes them all to driving school.
Exactly. Which wouldn't be the first time for M. Dench, would it?
No, would not. Kurt Chapman. Turn 1. Oh, bang. A little bit of a bump. Around he goes. That's no good.
So Merritt all over the back of Shepherd here in pursuit. On the run to the main straight to complete the opening lap. Back we go to another replay.
Joe Baldwin.
Trucker.
Just a little wide, a little bit of sand.
Yep.
Just hang on to it. Done well to get out of there without
Did very
catastrophe. Well. John Merritt got through.
So Merritt to the lead on Shepherd on the run down the hill second time.
Into turn 1.
And they're still going at it as well.
They would be.
When we go back live as well, Grant, they're still side by side. Typical trait of Austrian racing. Have a look at it. That's exactly the sort of racing that we were expecting in the second race, but we weren't getting it from Denchi until he got into a battle with Alex Schmidt. This is the sort of trademark stuff that we talk about. The over and under, the back and forward, the inside line on one corner and the outside line on the next. Now Merritt's found a way to get it consolidated. But it takes, more often than not, it takes about half a lap. Then he leaves the door open. There goes Shepherd down the inside. Samuel Sproul wants a piece of this as well, and Dench and King and Cooper and Smith and Leach and Pedersen and Schmidt and Lazarus are all coming along for the ride. And that's not even the end of the train.
The gang's all here.
Oh, indeed they are.
Cooper having a big look at King. Richard King from the open split. He's done a good run through there, was Sam Sproul, but quick on the in, not so quick on the out. 33.61, 32.75 for Matt Dench, and then Corey Lazarus back in 11th place, up 8 places, 132.40.
A devastating result for him, because that stop and hold gave him an invoice for the rest of that race and also the start of that this one as well. So he's playing catch-up from the outset, and he'll be playing catch-up right to the end, one suspects. Here comes Cooper down the inside. Displaces Richard King back to 6th. Cooper up into the top 5. They're chasing Dench, Sproul, Merritt and Shepherd as well. And back we went to behind Richard King, Smith, Leach, Pedersen, Lazarus and Schmidt making up the top 11. Lazarus of 32.401. Wilson, Lavis, Adams, Vismuth, 12th, 13th, 14th and 15th. And then Gallacher and Rees and Fung Wong, Wood. Then Baldwin as well. So that's Joe ahead of John. Then Barker, Heinrich, Snadden, Baker and Chapman. No McIntyre, no Brooks, no Newlands, no Stark, no Hooper. So we're down to 26, but they're all on track.
I think Richard King can look forward to an invite in his iRacing service to pop him up to the elite split next season. I think he was very, very close to it, but because it was so late in the season, Adam left him down.
Yeah, I would suspect that it won't be an email more as it will be a notification saying, hang on, this is happening, and you've got no say in the matter.
Oh, absolutely.
There'll be no invitation about it. It'll be, this is happening, and you've been summoned. So it'll be like jury duty.
Yep. Sure.
Except on this occasion, you won't be trying to find every excuse under the sun to get out of it.
You won't get paid. Shepherd sets
Exactly.
31.60. So he's trying to round it out for your zaculations for this one, Zach.
Making it difficult, I must admit. The clock says 24 laps at the top of your screen there. Well, actually, it'll be interesting. Oh, Joe, no.
Just jumped over the sausage.
That's not what we like to see.
Brought him undone.
Because 2 laps every 3 minutes, right? So that gets me to 20 laps in 30. And they're saying 24, and the clock is saying how many? 35, 36 minutes?
The clock is saying...
Yeah, so 5 minutes 50 gone. Yep, it's 37. So it's 37. So 24 shouldn't be a problem. 24 is 36 laps. 36 minutes. 24 laps is 36 minutes. And then with your splash and dash thrown in, we should breeze that in.
Corey Lazarus around just Guy Leach and gets it done. Oh, that's a big off there. That's certainly X's. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a bit of a slowdown there at some point as well. Someone in front pulled over Andrew Smith, I think. It looked like he was trying to wash some time off, but that's not the case. Guy Leach right with Corey Lazarus has a look at the outside. Lazarus leaves him room.
So, this is more like it. This is what we've come to expect in Austria. What will be interesting is to see how wedged together, how close together the field is after the pit stops, after the field becomes cleansed. Now it's interesting here too, ladies and gentlemen. There are 15 seconds left in the Women's State of Origin. Queensland won the opening game by 8. They trail in the second one by 4. New South Wales up 18-14 after a late try. If the result remains as it is, New South Wales win this game 18-14. Queensland lift the shield because on aggregate, they'll be 4 points ahead. It'll be 1-1, but aggregate will decide it, and Queensland will lift the shield. So 15, 16 seconds to go for Queensland to go back-to-back in as many nights in State of Origin. So how about... And that's a huge job from Jeff Adams. There's nothing small about that.
No.
All right, here we go. Dylan Shepherd, the leader. John Merritt second in close pursuit. They've got a little bit of a buffer back to Samuel Sproul, Matty Dench and Aaron Cooper. Adam Lavis also riding up the off-track alerts at the moment. There's the gap. First to second, you're watching it live. Down the main straight, 5 gone and 19 to go. We start lap 6 and 75%. 75% of the race remains. 25% gone at the end of this lap. Dylan Shepherd leads. John Merritt is second. They've got a gap on. Oh, Matty Dench has got by Samuel Sproul. Back of shot. Matty Dench is up into third. Dench to third on Sproul. This is how he got it done. Clinical at his best at turn 1.
He gets magnificent drive off that corner. He drops it down a gear just as he's about to hit the dip, and that just drags him up alongside. Sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:31.48.
Are we surprised? No, probably not.
Not particularly.
No. Oh dear. So, only car on the track faster than that at the moment. Grant is Andrew Smith, 131.282. So, Matty Dench, keep an eye on him because no doubt he'll be out in pursuit of that fastest lap marker and that bonus point that goes with it later on in the piece here. Just to put the icing on the cake. Yeah. He's already got the title wrapped up. Don't worry about that. He's already got the title. Now it's just about finalising it with a little bit of sprinkling and icing, I would say.
Someone was asking after the racing the other week, what do we know about Matty Dench? We know nothing about Matty Dench. We don't know how old he is. We don't know if he's a student or if he's working. We don't know if he's got... We know Mum and Dad are really keen, so that puts him, I think, in a lower age bracket. Certainly lower than me, but that's not hard.
Yeah.
You wonder if he'll ever share anything. We've never really asked him, but Matty Dench, 131.31.
Something to be said about these cryptic characters that don't give away much.
Yeah.
It leaves us with a little bit of intrigue and curiosity. Right. Denchy's right there, nipping at the heels of John Merritt, the two sparring partners that go way back. They're back together. They've got Dylan Shepherd as the anchor of this battle at the moment.
Watch Dench's
Shepherd,
braking
Merritt,
in mid-corner. Look at the ground he makes up through that phase. John Merritt might be getting checked up just a little bit by Shepherd, but that's where Matty is so strong and where he gets so much of his time is that braking phase and mid-corner speed. And whilst saving, half his fuel allowance to get through. So maybe he is a student. He's not got much of a fuel allowance. These things are a bit thirsty, but
that's true.
Shepherd and Merritt will be saving like mad because you don't want to have to put any more into the car than you need to. But all three of these, look how close they are.
I'm not going to lie. It's nice to see Channel 9 rehashing the same graphic they used last night that says Queensland 2023 State of Origin champions. 18-14 full time there in Townsville. Look at this now. The gamesmanship has started. Shepherd weaving left to right, trying to break the toe. John Merritt right there. Dench just sitting back and waiting for all hell to break loose to come through and sweep up and clean up the pieces. Aaron Cooper wants to join in. Samuel Sproul, Andrew Smith not too far away. Corey Lazarus is the next one of the queue, but he's 3.1 seconds down the road. And you've got Richard King leading the open split still. Guy Leach and Alex Schmidt in behind that. Sean Rees up the road. How many times have we said that this season? Paul Short, I've lost count. Now, beautiful move. Shepherd keeping Merritt at bay just a little bit longer and then defending to the inside, Merritt to the outside. Now, if Merritt can hang there, very tough ask down the outside at the tightest corner of the race, or one of the tightest corners on the racetrack. No, he decides to tuck back in and let Shepherd hold sway. How good's this been? The Porsche Cup. Not always delivering top shelf racing like this, but these boys are saving their best until last. If anything, Grant, it's the entree of Thursday Night Motorsport that's taken our breath away more times than not in recent years and in recent seasons, through Formula V first up and now, of course, through the production cars. But take nothing away from the Porsches. These guys are putting on a show on the final night of school for Term 2 of 2023 season. 13 on our platforms. Oh boy, can you believe that? Term 3 will be season 14 and it's just around the corner. July 10, Monday, July 10. Make sure you join us. I'll be chiming in remotely from Cessnock for the first night of the new term and then taking a week off to go and focus on the Sydney 300, but then back with you for the Thursday night or whatever we're delivering up. I don't know what we're dishing out yet as far as broadcast is concerned.
If there's a Thursday night.
Yes, in term 2. That's right, correct. So stand by for more broadcast details and information.
Yeah, well, this is going to be my last broadcast for a while. I'm going to take a bit of a back seat and done it for a few seasons in and out, but...
Bombshell, ladies and gentlemen.
Perhaps.
Yes. I don't think it's a bombshell because, I mean, at the end of the day, you're at a stage of your life now where you've got the freedom, being retired from work and whatnot, to go and travel if you please, and obviously having this as a commitment gets in the way of that occasionally. We do work around that, but yes, I was going to actually let you drop that bomb at the end of the broadcast, Grant, but that's all right. We'll drop it on lap 9 of the finale. No worries.
I figured I'd get in while people were watching.
Well, yeah, why not? Absolutely. No, it's been a tremendous privilege to work on a Thursday night with you throughout the course of so many seasons now, but we'll, of course, do the thank yous and whatnot a little bit later on in the piece. Let's get back to work. And John Merritt, of course, sitting there with Dylan Shepherd. So, yes, definitely Monday Night Motorsport next season, and then at the committee's discretion will determine whatever nights of broadcast we dish out. In the absence of Grant, someone's going to have to pick up the freights. So whether it's Chapo, whether it's Lavis, I'm not sure.
When's Angus
we'll
back?
work that out in due course. Actually, that's a good
He
point.
must run out of money sometime soon.
He'd have to.
Here goes Dent.
And he'll be on. He'll be required to make do a little bit of catch up overtime, I would imagine, when he returns to the platforms of the GSRC. Drench makes light work at John Merritt down the main straight and through on the inside to turn one. Drench is now second. Dench and Merritt with the original front row here. Dylan Shepherd with the blinding start to go from third to first has held sway ever since. It's a six-way fight for the lead. How good's this? We're on lap 10 of 24, I should say. The question will be asked: who pulls the trigger and when?
Let's have another look at that start, because I was a little busy with other things, but hopefully we'll see it without the signs in the way. Dench just got bogged down. That's happened to him before. We saw that a couple of weeks back as well, and as you said, there's Merritt coming through, and Dylan Shepherd, I think, gets him at the top of the hill, and Dench just goes, leave me alone, just leave me be, and up the hill Shepherd gets Merritt, and a very tight pack behind that.
Scores a level at Cardinia Park as well, 6-11 apiece, 47 apiece, Melbourne and Geelong as well, early in the fourth quarter if you're an AFL fan. So there you go, there's your Around the Grounds update done. Not just internal GSRC changes that are coming up at the end of the season, but everything else that's going on at a big night of sport as well. Drench has got this championship wrapped up. It's now a case of just dotting the I's, crossing the T's, going through the formalities and motions and getting to the final checkered flag of the season. The 15th and final race of the Porsche Cup, delivering the goods so far as Shepherd defends to the inside. Anthony Visma under investigation for his incident with Paul Wilson as they come up towards turn one. Shepherd playing the defensive game until it's time to move back onto the racing line to hold position going into the first corner. One little slip up though and Dench will pounce. We know how he operates.
Well, he'll be in no hurry. We've still got, we're just barely approaching halfway, so he'll be happy to just use as little fuel as possible. Cooper on Merritt just behind there.
There you go. Cooper to third. And covered it off. Got it done. I thought Merritt might try and fight back on the inside, but Cooper wasn't having a bar of it. He said, don't even think about it, son. Through they go, and now they've given Dench a little bit of breathing space, which is not what they would have wanted to do, I wouldn't have imagined.
He made it very clear. Oh, Merritt closing in on Dench as well, so John didn't have anywhere to go. Very nice move from Cooper. He saw an opportunity and snaffled it. Smith right on the tail of Sam Sproul, and Corey Lazarus is 2.9 seconds behind in 7th place, up 12 spots, so he's really flying up. 5-second penalty, Callum Heinrich, rear contact with our mate Joe.
Old trucker can't take a trick some nights. There's no doubt about that. Poor bloke.
Smith and Sproul just in the background there. John Merritt.
So there's a license point penalty for John Baldwin as well for the contact with Tony Baker earlier in the piece.
Yeah, holding brakes. There's rule number 1. Hold your brakes. Rule number 2 is see rule number 1. But
Exactly.
John Merritt obviously thinking I've got to do a little bit more fuel saving because they were better than me last time. So he's sitting in 4th place there, just taking as much of that disturbed air to ease his path through the Styrian hills. But Dench looking pretty toey now.
And Dench is in a position here where he can sit and be patient and wait for the pit cycle, or he can pounce now and still have the same impact. How often have we seen him just let someone do the heavy lifting, someone drag him along in the opening stint, And then there's
into the
Shepard
pits.
actually releasing him into the wild because Shepard comes into pit lane.
John Merritt comes in.
Shepard pulls the trigger.
as well.
So there you go. That answers the
Corey
question.
Lazarus as well. Dench will probably go on for about another 6 or 7 laps.
Yeah, most likely. But then again, those guys have seen, we're at the end of lap 12. 12 gets us to the checkered flag, half race distance, down the line, down the middle. Top up, let's get home.
Yeah, Cooper's hanging right in there, so Dench will do just as much as he needs to keep himself out of trouble. And if Cooper wants to have a dip through, I'm sure Matthew would say, yes, thank you very much. I'll drive behind your car as well for a little bit. So the guys who pitted, Dylan Shepard, John Merritt, they've come out, let me go to overall and show that. They've come out 7th overall for Dylan Shepard. Adam Lavis yet to stop. Matty Dench just starting to build up that lead. He won't want to give Cooper more air, more draft than he needs to. So he might say, well, nice little drift from Matthew Dench as he comes out of there. Tricky old corner, that one, but just lights it up a bit, just for fun.
Credit to Aaron Cooper for going with him every step of the way here, though. That has been really impressive. Aaron Cooper bails off into pit lane. So he ran with Denchi as long as he could, and now the champion-elect, the man that's going to make it 6 on the trot. If he hasn't already wrapped it up, mathematically speaking, we think he has. He makes his way around onto the start of lap 14 with a very commanding race lead.
So with the pitters taking place in the Open Cup as well, Steve Galasher is leading that event with Nick Wood and Adam Lavis. Looks like Wood and Lavis are both in the pits. No, Galasher's come in. So we'll see how that evens out. Adam Lavis is pretty handy on the old sipping of the fuel as well. So we'll see. He's in as well, though. So Lavis, Wood and Galasher all into the pits. Matty Dench. Does he go around again? Probably.
Oh, if you're a betting man, you'd suspect that he probably would, yeah. How good's this? The black and yellow M Dench getting it done again. Now, if you're just joining us, I mentioned it at the top of the call. I'm going to mention it again at the bottom of the call. Slightly earlier start and finish from us tonight. Well, the finish might not be necessarily earlier by the time we interview champions and wrap up the season and put a full stop on it all and all that. But the racing aspect of tonight will finish earlier than usual because we started about 20 minutes earlier than usual as Denchi comes to pit lane. Denchi to pit lane, and that will be for his final stop of the term. And the stop that will take him out into the race lead and then off to victory lane, I would suspect. The end of lap 14, we're on 15. Here comes Aaron Cooper. Dench is in his box, pitting up, fueling up. Dench is released. Dench is on his way. Dench will lead this thing by a country mile, I would suspect, when he comes back out onto the racetrack now. And he has. There he is. Not quite a country mile, but certainly a fair buffer. He's got room to move and room to play with. 2.1 seconds to Aaron Cooper, to be precise. But yes, I don't think we got a chance to fully cover it off in the opener tonight. But yes, iRacing's going down for maintenance at 10 p.m. Eastern. So that meant that we had to move everything forward about 15, 20 minutes just to ensure that we'd get the Porsches in, run and won tonight. Otherwise, we would have been staring down overtime next week and coming back for an extra night of school in our holidays, just like the Supercar boys are next Wednesday night. So that wouldn't have been ideal for anybody. And I certainly wouldn't have been here, Grant. Not for overtime. Dench, Cooper, Merritt, Shepard, Lazarus, Leach, Schmidt, Barker, Snadden and Pedersen. The top 10 here at the moment. And you're watching Aaron Cooper on screen. Just down the line, Richard King still leading the open split. Jeff Adams is second. He's under pressure from Chuk Fung Wong. The rest of them are somewhat starting to spread out and scatter all around the racetrack. Kurt Chapman's out of business. Sean Rees is out of business. John Baldwin may as well be. He's 7 laps down, which in a 24-lap race puts him beyond that threshold of being classified at 25% anyway. Andrew Smith has parked up for the night. He's done too. And that's it. That is essentially it. Everybody else still having a crack out there at the moment, which is good to see. I'm flying solo at the moment because my producer and director has gone mute at the other end. So we'll get to Grant very shortly. Oh, he's back. There we go. Excellent. I saw the microphone, the mute signal there, Grant, and I thought, hang on, he's left me high and dry. No, he's here.
Just left a bit early. Grant has left the building. No, just needed to take a little personal break.
All good. All good. We all know what that's like after 3 hours in the chair here. 2.5 in this case. It is a fairly long slog if you can make it through pit stop free any given week.
Especially at my age.
Dench, Cooper, Shepherd, Merritt, Lazarus, Leach, Schmidt, Barker, Snadden and Pedersen, the top 10 here at the Red Bull Ring. Yeah, 5 to 8 and still daylight. Isn't that beautiful, Grant?
Lights are on,
lights are on, but no sign of the sunset being too big a factor here. Artificial light not coming into play. These guys will get to the line and there'll still be about half an hour of light at their disposal, I would imagine.
John Merritt, pretty good run off the corner there. Final corner. He's Shepherd just having a look on the inside, just saying, no, you don't. Oh. It still confounds me how these guys can run so close together. But just if you take a little look at the last lap time, we get Matthew Dench with a 131.167, which was about
just lowering the mark again.
3.5 tenths quicker than Aaron Cooper.
The timing monitor here, ladies and gentlemen, is lighting up 2 colours, green and purple. And they're usually on the same line of car number 1, Matty Dench.
So down in Open Cup, Richard King doing a good job. He's class of the field at the moment, but Jeff Adams holds the current leadership position coming into tonight, and Chuk Fung Wong in third, Stephen Galasher, Adam Lavis, Paul Wilson, who was one of his closest combatants. He was in second place coming into tonight, not having the best night of it, down in 7th place there. And Adam Lavis doing himself no harm. He's running currently 3rd in the championship, but Matty Dench, class act as always, and will continue to do so. One of the Pulse boys, though, has had a moment. And where's this coming into? Yes, the hairpin. Oh, it's so frustrating. Such a slow motion crash, if you call it a crash. And then you get on the grass and it doesn't want to let you out of there either. Oh, John.
Oh, hold it. Keep it together, John. Come on, hot lap. You've only got a few laps to go. We're on lap 18. There's only 25% of the distance to go. Once that lap is behind us, 18 down, 6 to go at the Red Bull Ring. Shepherd is there in 3rd place, under huge pressure from both Merritt and Lazarus as well. We're riding with Lazarus now down the inside of, is that lap
Richard
traffic
King.
he's getting by?
No.
Yes, it is.
Richard King leading the Open Cup. So Richard King,
gotcha.
leader of the
Richard
Open
is
Cup.
actually 6th outright. Yeah, righto.
So,
extraordinary. There you
some
go.
smoke.
That's better. So 6th outright. Thank you, Grant. That change of the graphics helped me immensely. 6th outright for the best of the open split cars in Richard King. Corey Lazarus is 11 seconds behind John Merritt. So 5th at best is what he is going to have to settle for here, I'd imagine. Can't see him getting any further down the line than that. Matty Dench, Aaron Cooper, Dylan Shepherd, John Merritt, then Corey Lazarus.
This is Ben Pedersen.
It'll be so near yet so far for this one.
Ben's had enough, I think. That looked like an exit stage, right? Last time round, Matthew Dench was 1 second faster than Aaron Cooper. Oh, here we go. John Merritt all over the back of Shepherd once more. Into 4. Good run out of there. Early shift into up into 4th or 3rd. Would have been. This corner's a bugger. You've got to be so patient. It's off camber. Wants to drag you into the sand trap out there. Now this one's tricky. Do you take it tight or do you let it run wide a little bit? And then it's all about this exit up through this chute into 9 and 10. Take a little of the inside curve. Don't run quite that wide if you're Dylan Shepherd. Good run from John. Will he have a look down the inside this time?
Credit where it's due to Dylan Shepherd for withstanding the pressure that Merritt's throwing at him, though.
Yeah, look, John hasn't been too aggressive, but he's certainly been within a couple of feet of his bumper bar the whole way around. Good battle here. Lazarus has just dropped back a little bit, so I'll see what happened there. Richard King got back by Lazarus, so Lazarus must have run a little bit deep somewhere. On this rotten old corner, he's going to maybe a slow down. Looks a bit like it for Corey Lazarus, so he's dropped back now to behind Guy Leach as well.
So 6.5 minutes to play. It'll be 4 laps at the line. The maths have been done very nicely by Adam Lavis tonight. I'm just going to put it out there. Far better than last week, the week before, I should say. This time round, though, the maths have been done perfectly. Look at the clock. 6 minutes at the line, or just over 6 minutes now, just under 6 minutes at the line. So 4 laps. And maybe 10 seconds in the way of overtime. Not much at all in the grand scheme of things. Matty Dench is on his way home with another fastest lap of 31.0. Get out of town. He leads by 5.5, and he's just adding insult to injury.
I'll tell you someone who might not have done their maths quite properly. Corey Lazarus has just come into the pits again. But Aaron Cooper, who was right with Matthew Dench, has now dropped back by 5.4 seconds. So I think Aaron might be trying to wring that oily rag out a little bit more as well. He might have just underfueled it a little too much.
On the subject though, Grant, when we look at tonight, Dench took pole. Dench won race 1. Dench won race 2. Dench is on his way to winning race 3. The perfect finish to what has been an unforgettable championship fight. It's had its moments where you would have started to get the feeling that maybe Dench was reaching the end of his dominant streak, but no, he found an extra gear in the last couple of weeks. He's going to extend that dominance into another season.
Yeah, I tell you what,
just
Zach,
extraordinary stuff.
You would think that the Hollywood scriptwriters had walked out on us as well, and we just keep replaying the same show from week in, week out. We've got nothing better to say except for Matthew Dench leading the race by 5.6 seconds, having set the fastest lap of the race last time round. You don't need a scriptwriter for this stuff. He just rinses and repeats.
Yep.
There's the old...
the rinse and spin. The wash, rinse, spin, and repeat and win cycle. Just extraordinary stuff.
The old sheet music used to say, repeat and fade. When you got to the end of the song, just play the last 4 bars over and over again. Here comes John Merritt down to 0.09. He's going to have a look down into turn 1. Will he force his hand? Yes, he will. And he's got a good drive out of there, but Shepherd, he's not done with yet. He's going to want to contest this all the way to the top of the hill.
Merritt Merritt. Merritt has the inside running, but we know if Shepherd can carry it on the outside line, he'll be able to stick with Merritt for the run down the hill as well, and that's exactly what he's done. In fact, he probably got a little bit of a better run because Merritt was a little bit taily, a little bit squirrely.
Yeah, that
Here
tighter
comes
line.
Shepherd for third. Can he get it done? Merritt's still on the inside. Now, Merritt needs to hold the inside line and then get across to cover Shepherd off. Shepherd isn't going to allow him to do so. Now he will. Now he will.
He's
now
got no
Merritt's got
choice.
it done. It wasn't the best run out of the corner there for Shepherd to continue to put the pressure on John Merritt. And Merritt would consume these, moves across and consolidates third at long last. Lap 22. Dench coming back to the line, 2 to go at the post.
And John Merritt's 5.8 seconds. He's closing in on Aaron Cooper pretty quick, actually. If we have a look at the gap there between them, we'll see that Cooper and Merritt. Yeah, so Cooper's starting to struggle a little bit. Merritt was held up there. I think you might find Shepherd's having a few issues with fuel as well. But we'll see what John can do. Down to 4 seconds. Look at out of turn 1 up the hill. Cooper's having some trouble. Cooper's gone.
Oh no, Aaron Cooper has thrown it away. And all of a sudden, and Shepherd's got back by Merritt as well. Shepherd's got back by Merritt. Merritt's off the road too. Can you believe the drama unfolding here? Cooper threw it away first. Merritt threw it away second. Shepherd moves into second. Cooper back to third. Merritt's night is done.
Where are we? Top of the hill.
Oh no, he's just going to pull up here. Oh no,
It's just driven straight off the track.
That looks like a net dropout for mine.
Yeah.
That is so far from the normal from John Merritt. It's not even funny. John Merritt has had a packet loss. John Merritt is sitting side of road, exit driver's left on the run down to turn 3. And he is sitting down in 18th place with no hope in the world of getting back into it. Samuel Sproul has had a shocker of a night in the pit lane for minute 7 last time round. He moves up into 18th now. Merritt back to 19th. Dane Snadden down in pit lane. Tony Baker in pit lane and has been for 3 minutes. Ben Pedersen in pit lane, but 1 lap out from being classified, so needs to find a way back onto the racetrack if he can. Andrew Smith, Kurt Chapman, Sean Rees out of business. Forget about it, don't worry. John Merritt now goes a lap down. Park drivers left to Matty Dench. Dench continues to lead. He's on the last lap. He's on the run home. He leads by 14 seconds, just to add insult to injury. Just extraordinary stuff. A real clinical performance from M. Dench.
Again.
The master class, the master of the craft, extends his streak to 6 consecutive titles. Just get out of town. Yep. Both those stats need a little bit of updating now, Grant. They need a little bit of adjusting. It's 6 Porsche Elite Cups, it's 6 GT3 Pro titles. On a night where things haven't gone right for Corey Lazarus, everything that needed to go right did go right for M. Dench. And at times in this championship where he has been challenged, he's even, whacked himself across the knuckles on a couple of occasions. And on this particular moment,
Corey Lazarus.
Corey Lazarus.
Old tyres.
Main straight, checkered flag. Dench gets it done. Dench pulls off the clean sweep on the final night of the term. Dench wins the title. Dench wins the round. Dench annihilates the field at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. And as I was saying, at times this season where he's been challenged, he's had his back against the wall, he's been under the pump, he's even had to whack himself across the knuckles for some silly errors by his own admission. By gee, what a way to resurge, what a way to bounce back, and what a way to overturn all the shortcomings of the season by clean sweeping the finale and winning the championship by a comfy margin in the end. Brilliant stuff. Shepherd, Cooper, Leach, King the best of the open split. That is a magnificent performance in its own right. Schmidt there in 6th, then Barker, Adams, Fang Wong, Visma made up the top 10. Corey Lazarus 11th in the end. Geez, that's going to sting. Then Gallacher, Lavis, Wilson, Wood, Baldwin, Heinrich, and Sproul will make up the runners in the field of those that got to the checkered flag. John Merritt on the tow rope. Dane Snadden will be classified. They all made it to 75% race distance, as did Tony Baker. No one else did. Oh boy, that was good fun. That was good fun. Matty Dench, the winner at the Red Bull Ring in Austria, to bring the second term of school for 2023 on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club to quite an enjoyable, incredible, thrilling, captivating, compelling, and spectacular close.
You must have been tight on
Magnificent
fuel,
stuff.
Matthew Dench, because normally we'd get a few donuts, a few.
Not tonight.
No, he's shut it down. He's left the building. Well, that was bloody good season. Indeed. David Dench, very proud dad, I would say, and certainly thanks to all the guys for making a great season, and for the Blackout boys for actually getting up there, and they'll be disappointed with the last 2 weeks, I think, but they certainly closed that gap significantly and put a bit of pressure on Matthew, which showed a couple of weeks back where not everything went his way, which was when we got the script writers back. But, they wrote a few new lines for us. But, excellent work from the Blackout boys. And they'll have their heads down and be working hard over the off-season to try and find that, the lazy second or so that they've got to find to catch up to Matty Dench. Let's have a look at those results overall.
Oh dear. There are the outright results for you, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get to that, two-time New South Wales production touring car champion Chris Reeves probably sums up the situation the best tonight. He said, given we had a lotto win tonight, it's reasonable that we ask for privacy while we figure out how to spend our $11.90.
Touché.
Brilliant. Well done. He is a great man. There's no doubt about that. Looking forward to hopefully catching up with him trackside at SMP in 3 weeks' time. Matty Dench, the winner here from Corey Lazarus. That was race one, actually. From Aaron Cooper, Dylan Shepherd, and Brett Barker. That made up the top five in race one. And that was as good as Lazarus's night became, unfortunately, because it all went to the proverbial in race two. Have a look at him down there in 10th place, 47 seconds off the pace. We found out the reason for it was a stop and hold of 44 seconds. Disaster striking for him at the very back end of the season on a night where he needed to make every poster winner and needed to, beat Dench at his own game. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the nail in the coffin. But, hey, what about Richard King?
Yeah, absolutely.
What an extraordinary performance.
Welcome to
important
Elite
to
Cup,
note
Richard.
that he probably won't win the championship, but he's going to go within striking distance. Coming into the round, he was only 63 points behind Jeff Adams, who will be the champion, I think, over Paul Wilson. He had a 20-point buffer there to play with, and Adams has managed to beat Wilson in the points race here tonight. So I don't think that's going to be any drama. But Richard King, the standout performer tonight, punching above and holding his own, fighting at times often with the elite splits. So, well done. We've got, exactly, Veronica nailing the point, actually. About time Denchi had some form on a sprint night. Those nights are few and far between. They have been his Achilles heel for such a long time, but no more. He finally shook the monkey off the back with regards to sprint racing with a clean sweep, a triple treat here, a hat-trick at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Let's get into the post-race show right now as Grant continues to show you through those results. And we mentioned him as the standout performer of the night. We've got Richard King, and we've got, we believe on maths on numbers, and Adam Lavis will crunch the numbers for us very shortly. We believe we got the open split champion in Jeff Adams. He's standing by as well. Richard, I'll start with you, mate. I can't see any reason why you're not going to be promoted to the elite split next season with a performance like that. What a way to finish.
Yeah, it's been pretty good. The last probably 3 rounds, I've really found my feet with this car, and my performance has picked up heaps, and I just love Red Bull as a track, so I've done good.
You have done good.
Yeah.
Too right, yeah.
Talk us through the night, mate, because obviously, I mean, the Red Bull Ring, it's one of those deceptively simple-looking racetracks. It's a challenging track to get right, but horsepower is king, speed is king, and staying in the train is also an integral, imperative part of success around here. And you're able to do that, and you put a fair buffer between yourself and the rest of the open split in doing so, and getting a ride with the elite boys and getting to go punch for punch with them and having a play in amongst the bigger class, if you like.
Yeah, I put myself and Jeff put a heap of practice in this week for this. It was important for Jeff, obviously, and I had the chance there maybe to get over Adam into third. So the plan was just to keep it clean, be as fast as we could, and I, just like you said, was able to get on the coattails of those elite guys and kept it clean and pulled through.
Now, Jeff, Richard, during the course of the race, you were tucked up amongst a lot of those elite guys. I was saying you're probably sitting there going, just get behind me, don't give me any grief, I'm happy for you to be in your own race, but just don't put me off the track. Was that a recurring theme throughout the course of the evening?
Yeah, it was. I was really just trying to keep my nose clean as much as possible. There was a bit of argy-bargy there at the start of actually a couple of those races, and I was sort of clenching my butt cheeks a little bit there, trying to make sure I got through.
Yeah.
And then, and at the end there, in that last race, unfortunately, Paul, I think he got a bit of a helping there on turn 2, and that was, when I saw him spin, I was a little bit bummed, to be honest, because I did want him to I wanted to have a good battle. I think I still would have had him, but at the end of the day, I still really do enjoy racing Paul, and it was a good lot of fun.
Yeah, Richard was just out in a bit of a, not a class of his own. He was out in the elite class, which is where he certainly will be racing next season, I would think. That good to have those sort of guys around you, and you and Richard are teammates by the looks of your liveries.
Yeah, we've been teammates for a couple of seasons now, and I think we'll actually win the team championship too for the Porsche Cup. Get the bragging rights for that as well.
Very nice.
Which will be really good. We've had a good run to the finish, to be honest, in the last couple of races. I mean, Richard's learnt most of his skill from me at the end of the day, so he's really got to,
Just, even if you do say so yourself.
Yeah,
that's right.
Nice.
Just pat himself on the back, right? Very nice.
Absolutely.
No, that's all right. We're past that 9:30 threshold. We're okay. Good on you, Jeff. Join us for a chat in a moment, mate. Richard, finishing with you, and I'm going to get to Trucker and Matty in a moment, and Jeff as well. Just recapping too, folks. New South Wales won the Origin, but Queensland won the series on aggregate in the women's. In the Ashes at the moment, I can tell you that Australia are playing England in the women's test match, and that has just gone to lunch, so I'll have an updated score for you in just a moment. But in the AFL earlier tonight, full time's just been blown at GMHBA Stadium. Geelong too good for North Melbourne, 11-12, 78 to 8-15, 63. I don't need to tell you where that game was lost for Melbourne. 23 scoring shots apiece, but the big sticks pay better than the small sticks. So Geelong and accuracy prevailing in Geelong tonight. Now, going back to you, Richard, what's on the horizon? What's on the radar for the next couple of weeks, mate? While we take a break here at the GSRC, what are you getting up to? How much sim racing is involved in the next couple of weeks? Do you take a little bit of time off? And I guess, what does next season entail for you as well? What have you got your eye on there?
Yeah, I'll probably just keep doing a few of the official races. Try and not stuff my safety rating. But yeah, I'll be definitely doing these again. I've really enjoyed this series. It's just a very difficult car to drive fast, and I'm enjoying the challenge. And I think I'll probably pick up the GT3s, give the GT4s a rest, and go back to those GT3s and give it a run for the season.
Now, on that subject, nice to see that you're going to keep yourself match fit, so to speak, by doing a couple of officials. We've got a couple of new tracks along the way next season. Motorland Aragon and Willow Springs will no doubt play a role in our calendar somewhere along the line, and we're looking forward to that. But now the question has to be asked, because you've dropped the bomb that you're probably going to give GT3 another go. Where are you looking at in regards to what car you're going to steer for the 10-week campaign? Because it's a pick and stick format. It has been for a while. There's no chopping and changing mid-season anymore without some sort of invoice to pay for it. We know that there were recent BOP updates. We know that a lot of these guys are comfortable where they are, but we know people like Denchi are happy to, shop around a little bit, so to speak, and find what's going to suit them and the calendar that awaits us for the 10-week campaign. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'll have a look at the balance of power update and see where it is, but it'll probably be the Merc or the BMW for me. I struggle with the mid-engine format, and unless the Porsche is somewhere up there, my form in this has sort of shown I can drive them. So yeah, I guess I'll just have to wait and see, and yeah, like you say, pick and stick, and hopefully I don't pick a Ferrari like I did one their season.
Although that being said, the Ferraris did bloody well in the AM split this season, so it's interesting, as it always has been, Grant, just looking at the comparisons between what's doing the damage in the Pro split compared to the AM split, and it's always a different manufacturer. I don't think there's ever been a season where the same manufacturer has taken out both splits, but or three splits back when it was three splits as well, but it's interesting. The Ferrari was working in one split. The Lambo was doing the damage in the other with the Merc as well. What are you thinking about the new tracks, mate? Are there any circuits there that you don't like? Are there any circuits there that you're happy to not visit again? Are there circuits that you'd like to see introduced into the calendar that are more to your liking? I mean, obviously with two new tracks, that leaves 8 gaps. How would you like to see it filled up?
To be honest, I haven't even looked at the new tracks, so I haven't got an opinion there. I guess I'm going to have to fork out some cash and have a look. But look, I enjoy the standard tracks. I really hope they keep Bathurst in the GT3. We've had a few seasons there without it, and I thought it was an epic race. This one I had a go, just jumped on for that. But just I really like tracks like this. Red Bull, sort of the mainstays, sort of suit my driving.
No Silverstone.
No Silverstone. I like it. Well, we did have a round at Silverstone in the Porsches, didn't we, this season? So that's a fair point. Stay with me, Richard. Going to bring in Jeff, Joe, and Matty Dench at this point in time. Joe, I'll start with you. It was a night that started well, but unfortunately there were parts there where you just couldn't take a trick. Although at least the car looked good. If nothing else, made us feel a little bit hungry.
Oh, it always does in the KFC livery. It's yeah. Look, I had 3 amazing starts. Race 1 wasn't too bad. I sort of battled around the back of the top 10, and as we know, this car isn't really my wheelhouse, and I got the tyres hot and made a couple of mistakes, so I ended up, I think, 13th in race 1, and races 2 and 3 just, I don't know, I think last race of the season, and guys were sort of going for broke in race 2, and yeah, it was a bit of craziness, and then I don't know what happened, turn 1, I think it was, of race 2, I got just had a wall of cars in front of me, collected a couple of them, and it just fumbled around at the back for the rest of it, having fun. So, but look, at the end of the day, it's about getting in and enjoying the race, and it's I am improving in it with the pace. Like, my actual pace wasn't too bad. It was just getting caught up in silly incidents early on. Some were my fault, some were just you get caught in crosshairs. So it's just how it goes. It's racing.
Absolutely, and I guess the other thing as well, mate, we knew chaos was about to ensue as soon as we saw a couple of guys light it up out of turn 1 on lap 1, because it is a blind approach.
It is, yeah. I got out there, I think it was in that last race, and I went right out wide, and the car just came out of nowhere, and I think there was about 3 separate, single car crashes that just converged, just one after the other, and that carnage at turn 1. So, I copped a bit of damage, and then just, stood on the proverbial stick later in the race, and put myself further in the back. So I just logging laps.
Yep.
Messing with some side. I used 3 different setups in all 3 races tonight, and just trying to get my head around what the car needs, and learning how to drive it to try and hopefully have a better crack at it next season. Is actually what I want to do in the open class. So, but if I can take the form I had in the supercars last night into the open in these next season, I should do all right, I hope.
And Joe, we had a bit of a whisper from Sam Chapman earlier in the evening that he was able to...
I think we might watch that.
No, it's Grant speaking. You got me? Hello, Joe. You got me?
You got us, Joe?
Yeah,
I'm here.
Okay.
Have you got Grant?
Hello, Joe.
No, Grant's got his mic muted.
No, he doesn't.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, my bad.
You've got me
there we
muted.
Go. I have. Sorry, Grant.
Right.
I didn't actually realise that till I sent it in.
No, Sam.
Yeah, sorry,
Sam
Grant.
Chapman,
Don't take it personal.
Live broadcasting, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't get any better than that.
No, you love it. Sorry, go ahead, Grant.
Yeah, Sam Chapman was able to share with us from his broadcast on Tuesday that effectively the racing next season is pretty much the same as what we've had this season, sticking with what works. Is that the case in your role as a committee member?
Absolutely. We discussed it we had a committee meeting on Tuesday night, and I think about the only thing that's changed, there's 2 changes. The Friday night car, I believe they're going to change that from an open wheeler to some form of a NASCAR, which I'm sure Nick Fodiatis will decide which car that'll be during the off-season, and I think they're going to take the Clio out of the production car club class.
You're
which
proud
I don't think there's going to be...
Yeah. That'll be universally celebrated.
Absolutely, it will be. Yeah. I thought it was actually going to be a pretty good car when it came out, but I don't know, it just doesn't seem to race well, I found. So I dropped out of the production cup after 1 week of that dang thing. I just let my daughter use it to go and get her groceries and stuff. That I don't mind. It's about all it's good for. So.
And is there a whisper of what might take its place?
No, I'm not
Maybe
sure which car they're actually going to replace it with. The caddy was mentioned, and there's a couple of options there. I know the caddy was certainly mentioned. Would I like to see the caddy personally? Not really. It's actually quite a tricky car to drive.
Yep.
It doesn't have the latest updates and stuff like that. It's actually quite a twitchy. It's a bit of a monster, actually. It's fun to drive, but it's actually difficult to drive. So whether or not it'll be the right car for a series where you're changing every week which car you're driving will remain to be seen, but it'll be a good choice nonetheless if that's what they go with.
If it's not the first week, you've got a bit of time to work into it as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and the Mountain Men series on a Saturday night, that'll continue on. We'll probably end up doing a few more rounds of that. We've tried 3 ways and different things on alternate Saturday nights that just haven't worked. So we're probably going to do a bit more regular Mountain Men races. Not when there's enduros. If there's any enduros on the Sunday, like with the club or official enduros, we won't run those weekends with it. But we'll try and put a bit more Bathurst racing on, because there's never enough Bathurst. I mean, we all know that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, true.
So and the grand final's actually this Saturday night for Series AB with the Mountain Men. We're running the GT1, the Aston Martin.
Great car, that.
The DB9.
Yeah, fantastic car. We used that a couple of seasons ago as a grand final, and
I'm looking forward to that.
We actually did a live broadcast for that grand final. Yeah.
We had a multi-driver 50-lap enduro last time, but this time it's just going to be the standard 32-lap affair, I think. I can't see us running it longer. We may do. I might have a talk to the guys about it and have a 50-lap race, and just for the grand final, maybe season AB. Yeah, I thought you might. Yeah, a lot of guys do it, and it is a really, really fun car to drive on the mountain. It's just finding a setup for that car on the mountain that works and isn't twitchy is a bit. They've changed a few things lately, like since we used it last time. So I'll try and find a setup that's a bit more settled. The one we used last time, I think, will kill about 80% of the field. I went and did a couple of laps last week to set fuel limits, and it's a bit of a handful. So I'll try and hunt for something that's a bit more stable.
Now, just recapping for the benefit of those of you that are just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, the only score I wasn't able to give you there a short time ago, a live update, was the women's Ashes. At lunchtime, Australia sitting on 2 for 100 after winning the toss and opting to bat first. So a good start for the Aussies. Now, remembering that normally there's 98 overs in a day's play in a women's test match, but not this time round, only 90. Because instead of being a 4-day match, it's now a 5-day match. So the women's test match will be 5 days, which is something I had to do to combat England's predictable poor weather. So 2 for 100, strap in, because that continues right through all early hours of tomorrow morning, 3:30 a.m. on the wide world of sports. Trucker, really appreciate your time and help as always, mate. Now, obviously, Mountain Men continues. We're looking forward to that. You'll be an integral part of what goes on in Term 3 as well. But from a racing standpoint, what have you got your eye on, both cars and circuit-wise, and categories as well?
My work schedule has eased up a bit through probably to the end of the year. So until that daylight saving things comes back into play, I probably want to concentrate on the supercar this season again. Okay. I had a pretty, like I say, I had a pretty good run in it last night. So I was running 4th overall at Detroit until a mistake with about 2 laps to go, just not paying attention. But so I might actually put a bit of practice in for a change. I don't normally practice. I just get in and drive. It's about all I ever do. Unfortunately, I think we've still got one more week of it next week, where the Bathurst round got pushed back a week due to one of the updates. Right. So there's still one round of the supercars to go next week.
Correct.
I'm not sure whether or not we're going to broadcast it. I may have heard something. I'm not too sure whether that's going to be a thing. Hopefully it is. It'll be a good one to broadcast. So there's second in the championships, probably still up for grabs for myself, and I've actually missed a round. I've had 3 drop rounds instead of 2, so
that's no good. Yep.
And that's 90-minute around Bathurst.
Around Bathurst it is, yeah. So Adam Lavis, he's pretty much got the championship sewn up. He's about 150 points up on anybody else, and Matt Schmidtke and myself are basically going to be fighting for second in the championship. And as the current Open champion, I want a little bit of pride. I can't go 2 steps down.
No, very true. All right, mate, very nicely done. And your point about daylight saving, hits hard, because we're looking at it as though we're almost halfway through the year. And see, that's the thing. That's the thing. Someone said to me, the old American way of describing it for people, you spring forward and you fall back. Well, up here in Queensland, you spring back and fall forward. But that's another story for another day. Thank you, Joe. Go.
Just as something like a little bit left of centre, I know it's not really sim racing related, but I think probably thoughts for the guys in that Titanic submarine. I think they're out of time, unfortunately. So
yeah.
Just a bit of a sing out for them guys. That's a bit sad for everybody, really. So, but hopefully they find them.
Yeah, 100%. The word I'm getting through as we were on air tonight was that they've run out of oxygen now, so they're not holding high hopes, unfortunately. So, our thoughts are with everyone involved in that. And also those still reeling from the incidents of Monday last week, the King's birthday, long weekend holiday in progressive and civilised parts of the country, and that shocking bus crash in Greta in the Hunter Valley as well.
That was terrible.
Yeah. That was one thing that we didn't get to mention last week. But Joe, thank you as always, mate. Go and enjoy the break for the next couple of weeks. Enjoy some family time. Enjoy some KFC. And
certainly will. Might see you Wednesday next week. You never know. Wednesday
never
night.
Know. All right, mate. All the best.
Thanks
for that. There he is, Trucker Joe Baldwin, one of the greats on the platforms of the GSRC. Richard King, we appreciate you sticking around. Jeff Adams, let's bring you in at this point in time, and then I'll go to the top split, boys. Congratulations. You did everything you needed to do tonight. You brought it home in one piece. Sure, Richard got away from you a little bit. He was up the road, but relative to class, and that's what matters when it comes to points distribution, you did everything you needed to do to lock things up, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you for that. Richard and I did work pretty hard on this last race. It is most definitely beneficial to have a teammate, and both of us are pretty keen and with our racing, so we do really enjoy getting in there and doing some good practice, and we definitely put a bit more effort into this last couple of races, which is definitely paid off. And look, Richard definitely gets away from me now. Like he's definitely faster than me, but I can definitely learn a lot from him. And again, like we've also won I'm pretty sure we've come home with the team championship, which is a bit of a bragging rights there, that I said earlier.
And that's between all classes, isn't it? That's an outright thing.
That's an outright one. Yeah, so we
well
beat, I think it was Lazarus and Sproul, was it? I think.
Yep.
I think they were the two that we were trying to beat
This
out
was-
there. Yeah,
This
so
was coming
Sproul
into
and
this
Lazarus.
evening. The reason
Yeah, we had a bit of a lead.
the reason there,
I think.
forget the numbers because Adam hasn't entered yours in there, but that was the positions coming into this evening, I believe.
Yep.
Yeah. The reason why that's showing out of numerical order is because our mate Adam Lavis is currently crunching the numbers so that we can deliver championship win before we sign off tonight. Hang on,
Sorry. Just fingers are getting twitchy.
Excuse me. I apologise, folks. The frog's been in the throat all night, and I can't shake it off. So I am in a little bit of pain here as we wrap things up. But everyone's eardrums are about to get a rest after 10 weeks of me punishing them with my vocal cords. So it's probably a little bit of karma. Jeff, well done tonight, mate. That was a brilliant effort, and it's always a tough slog because when you reset, 15 minutes short, 20 minutes short, 35 minutes, that's a long slog. There's no doubt about that. But it's also that whole adrenaline rush and that fatigue and that mental test that goes with stopping straight after one race and restarting immediately again and putting your mind from one race to another, putting what happened in the previous one out the window and just focusing on the task at hand of the next race. It's a sharp format. We enjoy it as commentators. Do you enjoy it as a driver?
Yeah, it was definitely a bit of a curveball with the fuel saving in the second race. I don't think that was intentional. I think Adam said that I think he dropped us a bit short on fuel, but and I didn't really practice fuel saving, but Richard managed to save a fair bit of fuel and come home without having to stop, which was really helped him out and put him up the front. But and I had to do a little splash and dash there at the end. I was definitely trying to save, and I think the whole grid was just realised, we better save some fuel, and everybody just slowed right down. Yeah. I noticed. So there was a bit of saving in the fuel there, but look, I do enjoy it. Like, and I did actually enjoy the format. It was fun. I do like it. It's just doing I also just started doing endurances a little bit more regularly. With my time schedule with my kids and everything, it does make it a bit difficult. But whenever I can, I always try to jump in because Richard's a keen endurance fan. So we've been working on that as well in the background. But with that strategy with this car at this track, in practice I was burning tyres. But that's just my style. I wasn't doing the right thing. But eventually I ended up working it out, and I managed to keep the tyres at the right temperature, and keeping the car under control. I knew coming in tonight there was going to be a few people that were going to get caught out by that, because the outside left tyre cops a bit of a beating in the last sector, coming down into the last couple of corners. And you really do and then come straight into turn one where you're really loading up the rear left as well, trying to get that drive out of the corner. So that left rear cops a bit of a punishment, and with my driving style it wasn't doing it any favours, so I had to adjust. And again, it comes down to learning the car. Like, Richard and I are both really enjoying the challenge. It's been a great fun trying to learn the car. It kind of reminds me of driving the V8s, the V8 supercars. They're a handful of a car. There's obviously no traction control, no ABS, none of that as well in those cars. And I enjoyed those cars when they a couple of seasons back, and I haven't really touched them this season because I haven't been able to have the time to do it. But the Porsche's kind of similar in that respect, apart from the understeer that the car's got inherently.
Have you enjoyed? I mean, we've been doing it for a little while now because of the slightly smaller numbers that our fields have had in the Porsches. But have you enjoyed the all-in nature of the one split, two classes, one split?
Yeah, definitely. I like the challenge of trying to chase down the elites. Being that.
So does Richard.
Yeah, he definitely throws himself.
He definitely likes that tonight.
Got a few tonight, eh?
He also doesn't make me forget either. He constantly reminds me that he's faster than me. Yeah, he's a very humble man.
Gotta have a leader.
Yeah, that's it. But he's going to end up in the top split again. So I don't think I'm fast enough for that just yet. I might end up, if I can continue on the path that I'm on with the speed that I'm getting, I might end up halfway through the next season, ending up popping up into the top split. The goal is to get up there. Like I would enjoy it, but again, we're all racing in the same track, and there is a lot of respect out there for a lot of the drivers. And again, I've enjoyed sort of you've seen how I sort of just let them go because there's no point. There's no real. You're not really racing them, so you just want to sort of apart from just bragging rights about being in front of them. There's no real. If it's risking your race, there's no point sort of putting up too much of a fight with the elite boys because they do get tangled up in a lot of races because they're quite aggressive when it comes to getting their positions, and it tends to have a lot of argy-bargy up ahead and try to take advantage of that. But then again, they ended up they are faster than me, and they end up catching back up, and I sort of just let them go. Now it's just a matter of chasing down Richard and trying to catch up to his pace. I've got he's about a half a second faster than me in most tracks, and I'd like to close that gap.
Absolutely. Hey, we've got to press on here, mate. But before we do, what have you got your eyes on for next term? Where are we going to see you popping up apart from the Porsches? I know time critical is going to be a determining factor with regards to that based on what you've already said here, but what have you got your eye on all the same?
Oh, I'll try and do the GT3s as well with Richard. If I can get in there and do some races. I'm in the elite group in that one, so or the open. Oh, no. Yes, I should be in the elite group on that one. So that'll be good to race with those boys. I'll just have to brush up some speed, and I'm the same with Richard with the car. I'm probably more favourable to the AMG or the BMW. I'm more leaning towards the AMG, but we'll have a look at the BOP at the end of the day, and Richard and I will probably do a bit of practice over the break, and we'll kind of work it out between the two of us.
Yeah, very nicely done, mate. And obviously, we're one of the great, fascinating elements of the first week of the new term next season. We'll be seeing who's decided to zig and who's decided to zag, who's decided to stay where they're at with their car selection, who's decided to manoeuvre around. It'll be very interesting the first night of the new term on Monday, July 10. Hey, mate, thanks for that. Well done on the championship win, and well done to Richard as well. And we look forward to catching up with you guys next term.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Zach. Thanks for everyone for the season. Just quick shout out to Paul again. Thanks for the race and the clean stuff at the end there. I know he didn't come in tonight, but with the race throughout the season, he's been great. Thanks a lot, everyone.
That's Paul Wilson that he's referring to, who is
yes,
right
correct,
up there
sorry,
in the
Paul.
championship during the course of the whole season.
Yeah, and well done to Denchi too there, mate. Once again, class above everyone else.
Yep. Absolutely. Hey guys, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Go and enjoy the off season or the semester break, as we like to call it, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, see ya.
Cheers, boys.
Corey Lazarus and Matty Dench join us now from a couple of guys that dominated in the Open Cup. We go to the two men that were the spearhead of the element of intrigue that was the title fight tonight. The two combatants at the top end of the summit. And I'll start with you, Corey. Mate, all we can say is bad luck. That was one of those nights where everything that needed to go your way didn't, and the writing was on the wall, the nail was in the coffin. As soon as you got to stop and hold in pit lane, talk us through it.
How are you guys? Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall after Hockenheim, to be fair. There was probably far too much of a deficit to make up tonight, even if you know, even if I did go really well, it would require a small miracle and Matty to finish basically last in every race. So pressure was off, and yeah, look, it is what it is. It was a bit of fun. It was actually quite enjoyable starting down the, you know, towards the back of the field and trying to come through. And I made a hell of a lot of mistakes tonight. It was fun though, and it was good having the three or four Blackout cars up the front in the first race. And once again, Matty come through and took the spoils. Just showed again why he is the 6-time champion. Just too good, and massive congratulations, mate.
And in saying all that, though, Corey, we'll get to the champion in just a moment and pay him his dues. But in saying all that, you must take an immense amount of pride out of what you've achieved throughout the course of the season to make him work for it, to make him lift his game, if that was even doable or possible. We've found out the answer is yes. But to push it all the way to the grand final and still be mathematically in contention going into the second last race.
Yeah, absolutely. We're definitely proud, mate. Thank you very much. It's been a nice evolution from the last season to this season, and you know, as you all know, we put in plenty of practice throughout the season and during the week, and yeah, it is. It's a really nice feeling to be up there. And I sent Matty a message a little bit earlier just to say, you know, he's the motivation for the rest of the field to press on and try and improve all our speed. So yeah, mate, it's awesome to see how we are evolving.
Certainly is, and I guess turn one lap one of race 2. That's where it really properly started to come unstuck. And, unfortunately, you and one of your teammates caught up in that, but you fought back well. Race 3 didn't quite go to plan for you. And Samuel Sproul had his moments as well, but at least one thing's for certain, and that is the pace is there with you guys.
Yeah, we're certainly at the pointy end of the field in most events, and Ben's obviously, he's quick when he can keep it on the track, and Dylan's quick when he can attend the races. Yeah, that I don't know what happened in that race too. I was hung myself out on the outside, and I was prepared to take the off track, and I think it was just a sausage curb sort of unsettled the car a little bit.
I think so.
Yeah, it was a bit of a bummer.
You weren't on your own there. There's a number of people who fell.
Yeah,
to that.
100%.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah.
The only thing that probably could have got you guys across the line tonight would have been a clean sweep for you, and then Ben's acknowledging that's for sure. And Matty Dench having a John Merritt inspired dropout, but in race 1, not race 3. So it was always going to be a really tough task. But how do you guys regroup over the next couple of weeks now and look to, you know, knock him off the perch, knock him off the summit this time next term?
Just more hard work, I think. Just trying to improve a few aspects of our driving. We're probably trying to get some more team racing in together with the 4 of us, because even though we had, you know, the team label there, we didn't really get a heap of team practice in. With, you know, Dylan's away flying around the country with his real life stuff, and we're in different postcodes, different states. You know, the rest of us are just trying to tee up at the same time was a little bit of a challenge, but yeah, just keep focused, mate. That's all. Keep our heads down. We're in a couple of other leagues in the interim until we get another one back here with GSRC, and that's it. Just keep driving, just keep focused and go hard.
Yep. Have you had a chance to sample any of the new circuits that have dropped on the server in the recent weeks, or will that be a task for the next couple of weeks as well?
I got on to Chicago. That's really it. I mean, Jerez, that was, you know, last season, but yeah, that's it. I haven't got onto the others, really, just Chicago in the first round of officials, and the other leagues that we're in, they were racing there as well.
All right, very nicely done.
Young Ben being completely selfless there.
Absolutely, and a fair bit cheeky as well, but we like it. And he's not alone. I mean, we all neglect. Well, I mean, those of us that still live with our families, not me, but those of us that do live with family of some description, we always neglect time with them. for the greater good of GSRC competition, and we are immensely appreciative of that. So a couple of leagues to keep you busy in the meantime. Are you tempted to have a look at what else is on the GSRC schedule and dip the toes in the water with another category, Corey, or not?
Possibly. I'm doing the GT3 Spa 24 hour coming up. When's that? Mid-July or something like that.
Yeah, it's not far away.
Yeah. Look, to be fair, I won't. I will stick with this car and just going to push it as hard as I can and go as far as we possibly can over the next 12 to 18 months and see where it takes us. I will do the team enduros, particularly the GT3 stuff. But that's really about it. In my spare time, I jump on, and I was sort of raised in around Speedway over in New Zealand, so I jump in and I get on the dirt midgets and just have a little bit of a play around that. That's quite fun. Otherwise, it's just Porsches.
They've given that a pretty hefty update. Is it better since they did? I think I read somewhere that they'd completely reworked the dirt physics, etc.
Yeah, it is. It feels
more real.
It feels better. Yeah, if you could say that. Yeah, more realer. That's the one. Yeah, it's great. It's good fun, mate, for sure.
Excellent.
Very nicely done. Hey, Corey, go and fight. It falls short, but what an incredible championship. What an incredible amount of entertainment you've delivered, both us and probably yourselves and also the viewers watching on from home over the course of 10 weeks. Congratulations on that, and enjoy the next couple of weeks. Regroup, reset, and we look forward to seeing you in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, thanks very much, guys. If I could just really quickly just say a quick thanks to Astute Finance and Fisher Door Lawyers and my teammates and my wife putting up with me. She knows how many hours I put into this. She hasn't divorced me yet, so thank you to everybody and to you guys. Awesome display.
At least she's got good access to a lawyer there at Fisher Door.
That's exactly right. 100%. I hope Fisher and Door are well equipped with lawyers. Quite frankly, hopefully there's more than two. They might need them. They might get some good business out of the GSRC. I'm not sure. And I mean, we can sit here and facetiously, have a crack at that. But there are people, and we know, there are relationships that have fallen apart because of so much extra time being dedicated or committed to things like this. And it's real world as well as sim world motorsport. I know quite a few people that have entered relationships and then ended relationships because, weekends get chewed up or whatever the case may be. Because, well, the first passion is the one that puts the money in the pocket and, keeps the roof over the head. So it is what it is.
Yeah, my wife actually says that I've got two wives. The second one's called Samantha.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
that.
Well done, Mrs.
I like that. That's very nice. Yeah, that's crisp. That's solid work at this time of the night. Hey,
she's
Corey,
had plenty of
thank you,
time
mate.
to work on that.
She's had a few weeks, yeah, exactly.
Good on you, fella.
We wait now. We wait now. Somewhere down the line, someone will give birth to a young girl, and it will be called Samantha. Dedicated to all the sim rigs out there. Very nicely done, Corey. Thanks for that.
Awesome, boys. Thanks, guys. Love your work. Thanks for your hard work over the course of the season.
Cheers, mate.
Where would we be if we couldn't have a laugh at the end of the season? Good on you, mate. Thank you.
Exactly.
And yes, mate. Yeah, there we. Yeah, what? Yeah. The more things change. And Corey, a very comfortable commanding second in all of that as well. It's important to note. 395 for Samuel Sproul, just edging out Shane Wright, who wasn't a participant tonight, didn't start. Then Scott Barker, Alex Schmidt, and then Kai Ardley, who was a non-starter tonight. Guy Leach, Andrew Smith, and Dane Snadden made up the top 10. Well done, Dane. And everybody else outside beyond that doesn't really worry us. The open split?
Yeah, we've got one of those.
I do believe so. Whoa, 38 points, Jeff Adams to Paul Wilson, who just edged out Richard King, who came home with a wet sail. And then Adam Lavis got the rough end of the stick there and lost out completely by finishing 10th. Well, 10th was what did the damage in that first race there. Second and fifth, not bad in the second and third either. But he was out of the hard-charging Richard King on the run home to the checkered flag on his podium position there. But he was well clear of anyone else that factored into any sort of contention whatsoever there. Let's be perfectly honest. Right. let's rip the Band-Aid off and do this for the 12th time, shall we? The team's racing championship goes the way of Jeff Adams and Richard King, and by a comfortable margin as well, 127 points. Adam Lavis, Joe Baldwin, third. Well done there. That's some consolation for both those men. And Matty Dench on his line.
All on his own.
All on his own. Better than everybody else in the top 20. Just extraordinary what this bloke has achieved. 599 points to the good Matty Dench, 77 the winning margin in the championship. As I said in the call, you didn't have it all your own way this season. There were even times where you had to give yourself a whack across the knuckles just to kick yourself back into gear. You found a gear, it was an extra gear, and you re-cemented your status as an immortal of this caper. 6 times a champ, mate. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the night's gone pretty well. A couple little just small mistakes on those opening laps, and we were just sort of like trading paint with a couple of people, but we've all managed to keep it clean and have a really fun race.
You're being a bit modest there, Denchy. Pretty well. I mean, a pole position and the clean sweep, all 3 race wins. I mean, that's better than pretty well in my book. But in saying that, yeah, you're right. There were a couple of moments, weren't there, where either you didn't get the car launched into gear all that well, or you wanted to avoid some argy-bargy, and you ended up, second, third, fourth on occasion. But by gee, you fought back through well. The trick was the second race and staying out of trouble as everybody was going exit stage left and right through turn 1. Apart from that, it looks fairly smooth sailing. You had to pick your moments, though, to make the overtaking move stick.
Yeah, so the overtakes, we didn't try to force anything. We just tried to set up really good exits and just try and get a nice run down the straights. And we just sort of went with those types of overtakes rather than trying to force something and have something bad happen,
Should point out as well, for those of you playing along at home, once we're done here, switch us off and flick over to 9 Gem and watch the Women's Ashes Test match. It's underway. Second session has just started. That is coming your way from Trent Bridge, one of the famous Ashes venues of all time. So good to see the women on a big stage instead of tucked away in a small suburban ground. They're on the big stage of Trent Bridge, and they've got a handy crowd on deck for the first day's play as well. Denchy, I couldn't quite believe it. We knew you'd be up to your usual tricks with some fuel saving there in race 2. You had to be, because of the way in which the fuel limit had been set. It hadn't been tweaked to accommodate the different distances tonight. There are a few guys that couldn't make it. How close were you on? Were you on the smell of an oily rag? Were you on fumes when you crossed the line?
No, we had enough fuel for a full purple lap on the final lap, but we grabbed an off track, so it didn't count, unfortunately.
Okay, all right. So that's unfortunate. That's about the only blip in the road as far as the night's concerned. As far as I can tell. In saying all of that, though, race 3, you made hay while the sun shined, didn't you? I mean, this was magnificent from you in the opening stages, but to come out after withstanding some pressure from Aaron Cooper and a couple of others, and end up winning it by 15 seconds, that blew us away. You must have been surprised yourself, in a matter of speaking, because Dylan Shepherd obviously ended up second 15 seconds down the road. Aaron Cooper made a mistake and he lost out on second and dropped into third. But to finish with a 15-second advantage in a race that was that tight for that long, that's icing on the cake and then some, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Like the car felt really, really good with the setup we were running there tonight, and we just got that bad start, letting the clutch out a bit too eagerly, and so we just saved fuel for the first stint, and then we got fresh air, and we just started putting the pedal down.
And where to now, mate? I mean, at the end of each season, we continue to ask the question: when will the streak? When will the run? When will the era of dominance grind to a halt? I mean, it's as close as you've ever been to losing one since you started winning them this season, and yet still you found a way to the top step of the summit. So do you come back and have a crack for title number 7 on both a Monday night and a Wednesday night, or do you look at other pastures?
We'll definitely jump
Thursday night now, of course. We were on a Wednesday night in the Porsches for so long. Excuse me. Continue on.
Yeah, we'll definitely jump back in the GT3s for sure. That's that's like my favourite series, and the Porsche Cup, like Hobbo says, it's a really fun looking car. Looks fun, sounds good, but just the understeer can be a bit frustrating at times. So I think once you find a nice setup, it's quite enjoyable to drive.
And that's the thing, isn't it? With regards to the Porsche in the GT3 Cup that we're focusing on here, any BOP updates that were of any concern to you recently?
I don't really look at the BOP updates for this Porsche Cup car. We just sort of try it. If it feels good at the start of a season, we'll jump in and have a go.
All right, very nicely done. What awaits you over the course of the next 2 weeks, mate?
Probably not too much. Hopefully, we'll try and just take it easy and just try and get a few laps in here and there to keep on our toes.
Very nicely done. And obviously there'll be some potential calendar testing coming up. Once the calendar's released, some tracks that you might not be aware of or might not be familiar with. There might be a couple of purchases in the pipeline.
Yeah, so I think for GT3s, the BOP is pretty close across all the cars, and it's like very track dependent. Which cars will be the dominant ones? So we'll just sort of have to look at the season and weigh up what cars we haven't got that win in yet, and see which one we go with.
Grant, have you got anything to throw at the great man?
No, I've over this number of weeks that we've had Matthew popping into the booth, I think I've asked every question I could have asked him about winning and doing everything right. Just congratulations to you, Matt. Once again, showing the rest of the field, they've still got a little bit of work to do, but glad to hear you're still enjoying it all, and glad to hear you'll be back on the pages of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Always good to have you about, and it's always good to have you in the booth, because you're always very willing to not only give us your time but hang around for a while to be able to do so as well. So thank you to you, and thanks to your mum and dad for being fantastic supporters during the course of the season.
Yeah, thank you, and thank everyone at GSRC and the broadcast crew for putting on a great show.
Well done. Of course, we had Ben Woods just put up a little note before. He did the race control for this season for the Porsche Cup. First time as a race controller, and by all reports did a pretty good job. But fantastic work by him to make himself available for the course of the season and do that very, very important job.
And before we let Denchi go, I guess the only other question that we can ask here is, what was it like going toe-to-toe with your old sparring partner, John Merritt, there for a little while?
It was pretty good during practice. He was kind of struggling with the car a bit, and he asked me for the setup, so I gave him the setup. And it was race 2. He started in behind me there, and straight off the get-go, like I was clutching and doing big fuel saves, and he sort of saw Merritt want to overtake me, but he wanted to just try to copy what I was doing, and we finished 1-2, I think.
Actually, on that subject, we were talking on Monday night about the way in which they've changed your ability to fuel save in GT3, and it's now just a lift and coast. Have you still got the clutching ability in the Porsche GT3?
Yeah, you still got the clutch.
Okay, so they haven't changed it in this form. Yeah, righto. Okay, that's interesting, because I was not aware. So as soon as you said clutching, Denchi, my mind instantly clicked. I was like, hang on, what's going on here? But obviously the Porsche GT3 that we run on a Monday night and this Porsche GT3 are a little bit different.
Yeah, I assume that they'll probably push those type of updates across to this Porsche Cup car eventually.
Yeah, most likely. iRacing are always up to tricks, aren't they? Very nicely done. Hey, Denchi, considering that we're edging in on 11 o'clock now and we've been on air for over 3.5 hours, we're going to let you go. There's nothing else that we can, as Grant said, there's nothing else left for us to say other than congratulations again. The old dozen has been racked up. 6 on the trot in GT3, 6 on the trot in Porsche GT3. You're an immortal of the club. And I can't wait to see you go toe-to-toe with Brenton Hobson when we next roll out the Race of Champions format. looking forward to following your progress throughout the course of the next couple of weeks, what you're doing outside of GSRC circles, and obviously you'll be back firing on all cylinders on Monday, July 10. Go well.
Yeah, thank you. We'll catch everyone then.
Good on you, Matt.
Grant Gill,
Yes.
some final thoughts from you on the season that was. I mean, we've been sport on a Monday night. I think GT4's really stepped up and delivered in ways that it hadn't done previously, and that speaks volumes of the quality of the field, not just the quantity. On a Thursday night, similarly, we've moved the Porsches in here. We've now got the production cars picking up where Formula V left off. Thank you to Joe Baldwin for acknowledging us as well on the way out of here. It's just been good fun turning up on a Thursday night and seeing what these guys put on the table, seeing what they deliver in way of entertainment, drama, and excitement. I don't know if Thursday Night Motorsport goes around again next season. I know you don't, but what a 10 weeks we've had.
Absolutely, and I think it just goes to the maturity of the club now after 13 seasons. That the racing is put on in a very efficient and business-like capacity. It's probably I'm not familiar of how many of the other leagues or any of the other leagues run. I've been pretty much cloistered away in GSRC since I became aware of it season 2, I think. And but it's done in such a professional way as we'd like to think it would be. The maturity of the drivers, we often see a new driver come in and they'll be a bit feisty coming from battling the Iberians and think that's the way you go about your racing, but start to realise that, wait a minute, this is a whole lot like the real world where you're paying for repairs and almost like the real world, but the quality of the racing that we've been blessed with over the course of so many seasons now, and week in, week out, we know there's going to be a fantastic event on, and it's up to us as broadcasters and commentators to bring that to the folks at home, and I think it's pretty well received out there. So a lot of it has to go to the committee for how it's run and the way they divvy up the classes amongst different people to do that managing and make it as efficient as possible, so it doesn't suck all the week out of their lives. And
yes,
and of course to add,
it was all right when there was COVID and there was absolutely nothing we could do. We were confined to our own houses, but now we've got our lives back, in a matter of speaking.
Yeah, and we always say it, and it can't go without being said. The amount of work Adam Lavis does in and around the club. From the the spreadsheets, the schedule, which is the Bible of the club. If you want to know anything that's happening around the club, you look at that and it tells you exactly when it's on, what's on, who's broadcasting it, with the points. A massive amount of work in updating the points every single race. When you think about how much time he actually spends on it. We're just so fortunate to have a person of his caliber and his patience to sit down and prop up the rest of the club. In all honesty, the broadcasts that Sam and I do are completely built on the back of what Adam does, and his eye for detail is incredible. He matches the cameras. I mean, there's another thing that every time a new track comes out, he goes and watches real world footage of that racetrack and puts the cameras in all the same places and does so much around the place, and he's a gem, absolute gem, and whatever he's getting paid, you should triple it.
It's not enough.
yeah. But and then of course to you, your good self, sir, fantastic work that you do week in, week out. You keep us entertained, you keep us informed, you keep us excited, and you keep us up to date with everything else that's going on around the world, and just how many years there is between daylight saving Queensland and non-daylight saving Queensland. So
112. 112.
You must have done 11 or 12 seasons? Or
season? I was on board from about week 2 or 3 of season 1, so I've been here for every step of the road, essentially every every nook and cranny of the way. It's been good fun. Pretty much from the outset. So I'm not quite an original, but I'm next to I'm probably the next step in line.
Yeah.
One step away from the throne. Thank you. And thank you to everybody else out there. And I'll echo what you've said with regards to Adam Lavis. He does brilliant work. He's going to have to scan Aragon very shortly, and he might have to dig into MotoGP files to do that because Formula One hasn't been there. But I know he'll do that, and he'll do it well. Thank you to you for picking up the slack and broadcasting on a Thursday night so that he can actually go and race. We've had fun in here for the last 10 weeks. There's no doubt about that. And, of course, Thursday Night Motorsport was a staple of 2022 as well. Throughout all 4 seasons. So, we've enjoyed that. Thank you to Sam Chapman and everybody else that stepped up to the plate, Liam Banks as well, and everybody else has played a contributing role from this side of the fence to all of our race controllers. It's a thankless job, there's no doubt about that, but they do it well, and they do it for the love of the club, and also, in some respects, it's probably something to do as well. Keep the mind sharp. I try my best to keep everybody entertained. It doesn't always happen. I'm not 100% tonight. I've got a little bit of a headache and a rusty throat, but we got there in the end, and that's the main thing. And now we can go and rest the vocal cords and everything else for the next couple of weeks. But it is a privilege and a pleasure to sit here and bring you all the action. I do it 2 nights a week, and it's the top and the tail of my work week. Really, this is the start of my work week. I'll go and do 3 days of radio now: Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I get a day off on Monday, obviously not having GSRC commitments, but normally it's a 5-day work week, top and tail by some of the best racing in the world on the sim level, and our club can be very, very proud of that. Despite COVID, buggering off and us getting back to some form of normality, this is the one COVID thing that stuck around, but in a good way, not like a bad smell. So it's kept us entertained, it's kept us amused, it's kept us alive and well and going for so many seasons now. And even though we're all virtually, communicating and communicating and linked, I should say, we've all become friends, and we're all taking an interest in what everybody else is doing outside of the sim rig. And that's probably speaks volumes about the camaraderie in club circles. So well done to everyone involved, because yet again, after season, as I say, for some reason I'm still here 13 seasons on. I didn't think that'd be the case. If someone had said to me back in season 1, Grant, when I popped up, it would have been week 2 or 3 of week 1 of season 1 when I turned up. If someone had said to me I'd be here 13 seasons later, there would have been a couple of distinct 4-letter words being thrown back at them. I can be perfectly honest with you. But
probably would have started with "your" and ended with "kidding," but a couple of extras in between.
Absolutely. And happy to be wrong, though. I will say that much. I'm not normally happy to be wrong, but in this case, absolutely. So, when you asked the question, I was like, actually, no, I've been here from pretty much the outset, from pretty much day dot. And that just reminded me in that moment, Grant, how bloody quickly the last 3 years have flown by. Oh, yeah. My goodness gracious me. A huge thanks to everybody. I know we've got a loyal audience that tunes in every Monday, sometimes Tuesday, and every Thursday night to come along for the ride with us. We do it for you guys. We do it for the club. We do it because of the people scrolling across the bottom of your screen, the sponsors. Without any of that, none of this is worthwhile. None of it happens. So thanks for coming along for the ride. Thanks for interacting on the comments. Thanks for, keeping us on our toes and keeping us amused with your comments and banter. It adds to the fun of the fair. One last time this season, let's have a look at all those great sponsors scrolling across the bottom of your screen. Sorry, Grant. Let's thank them once more in verbal form. Waste Options and Blackout Electrical Solutions, of course, Login Systems and Astute Insurance, Finance and Wealth in East Brisbane, and of course Fisher and Door Lawyers and Flash Graphics. We thank them for their ongoing support of the club. Without them, it doesn't happen. I know Pete Matson's working in the background for another sponsor to come on board, and that will keep the party going if that comes to fruition. Let's remind everybody that on Sunday we've got our final round of the GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship for Semester 1 of 2023, round 5 is 8 hours around Mount Panorama Bathurst, the Login Systems GT3 Endurance Championship. Hey, well done, Grant. 11:30 a.m. that should be, not p.m.
Yes.
Jeez, I'm not signing up for an all-nighter. What are you talking about? 8 hours is the distance, however, around the most famous and special place in the land. And as Joe Baldwin said it earlier, and I've been meaning to come back to it, he said no one can have enough of Bathurst, can have too much of Bathurst, and he's bloody right, because I'm still bouncing off the walls after my trip there after 4.5 years in April, and it was after far too long about time that I got back, and I can't wait to do it again next year, maybe even later this year if I can find a way to be down there for the Bathurst International. I will be. In saying all of that though, Wings and Slicks tomorrow night from Sonoma.
I was jumping ahead.
Yeah, you were. USF 2000. We're a well-oiled machine after all this time, ladies and gentlemen. Wings and Slicks tomorrow night. Sonoma Raceway, USF 2000. 8:15 for those guys. So if you're signing up for a bit of Wings and Slicks fun, we'll see you there. Mountain Men and the Aston Martins on Saturday night. 32 laps, 8:30 Eastern. Sunday, we've already mentioned the Enduro. We'll be on air for that. Not us. Grant and I will take the day off, but Liam Banks and Sam Chapman will be here bringing you the top of the tail of that. And it will be well worth the price of admission, 8 hours around Mount Panorama. Not sure you'll get the grandstand finish that you got the 12-hour earlier in the year, but it'll be fun all the same. Then, Wednesday night, make a note of that. Late start, but well worth it. 90 minutes around Mount Panorama because the V8 Supercar season has been pushed into an 11th week. They had an unplanned bye because of iRacing maintenance, so they're back. Whilst the rest of us are enjoying our 2 weeks off, they're back to do a little bit of overtime to get the season done and tick the final box. Wednesday night, Mount Panorama Bathurst. And then, of course, only a couple of weeks away now, 26th of June is Monday night coming up. We've got that one off. We've got the 3rd of July off the following Monday night. It'll be the Monday after that, July 10, Eastern Standard Time, 7:25. Make sure you lock that in the diary. GT4 and GT3 Waste Options Monday Night Motorsport bursting back into life and back onto your screens. Venues and times and all that sort of stuff to be confirmed at a later point, but looking forward to it immensely. And also, more importantly, formats yet to be confirmed for the GT3 component of that. GSRC.myshopify.com for GSRC merchandise rather, not insurance. GSRC merch. GSRCmerch.myshopify.com, merch.tgsrci.com. Either link takes you to the same place, so sink your teeth into some of the great merch that the club has available for purchase, and again that supports the club and keeps the wheels rolling and turning here. Grant, on behalf of everybody here, I know you're taking a sabbatical of sorts. You're going off to enjoy retirement properly,
yes,
rather than retirement with an asterisk, as it has been for the longest period of time. Whilst you've also been keeping the mind active by learning the craft of producing and presenting iRacing and directing the broadcast as well. And obviously, anything to keep the mind active. We're all for it these days, especially after COVID. But thank you for all your hard work over the last couple of seasons. It's been a pleasure and a privilege working with you. I know we'll get the band back together somewhere down the track, but I hope you enjoy your time off in the meanwhile. And hopefully, at some point, you'll dip your toe in the water and come and oversteer once more, because we haven't seen much of you on track this season either.
No, that might be the case that I do jump back in, but going to take a bit of a break from it, and I'm sure I'll get itchy feet again and want to come back in. So I know you guys will always be here, and I'll pop up on comments and what have you. And in all honesty, if Adam has another family birthday or work requirement, I'm happy to jump in for the odd guest appearance. But it's been good fun. But time for a break.
No, absolutely, 100%. Considering you've been here for a fair chunk of the 13 seasons that we've been doing this now, and probably a good half, if not more, of that from this side of the fence as well. So to recap and put a full stop on the night that was. New South Wales won the game, but Queensland won the Women's State of Origin on points aggregate. Geelong got the better of Melbourne in the AFL. The women are going along nicely at 2 for 121 in the Ashes at Trent Bridge, the first and only test match of the Ashes series, but it's the first of 7 matches for the girls, of course. 3 ODIs and 3 T20s to follow that. They're going along at 3.67 and over. at the moment. They've just started the second session. It's about 25 minutes old. Play continues until 3:30 tomorrow morning. You'll see it on 9gem around Australia. Second test of the men starts next Wednesday night, so I actually get to sit and enjoy the next test match. In fact, the next 2 test matches before GSRC competition resumes. Of course, one lucky bastard, and I can say that because it's past 11 o'clock, is $100 million richer tonight, having won the Powerball draw. Yours truly picked up $20, which, I'll be able to buy a coffee. Everybody else is either licking their wounds or contemplating what might have been because they picked up a Division 2 through 9 prize. But to the one person that won $100 million, congratulations to you. Here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we saw victory for Brendan Whitaker in the doubleheader at actually 2 winners across 5 races tonight, Grant. We didn't get our usual 5 from 5 spread, but it was dominant from Brendan Whitaker to win 2 races in the Toyota 86s, converting pole position as well, and getting the job done there to secure second in the championship. Chris Whitaker winning it by 8 points while slapping it up in Fiji. And, of course, 8 or 9, one of the two. And, of course, Matty Dench doing what Matty Dench does, coming out with a little bit of pressure on him, but answering the challenge and then some. Pole position, 3 race wins, clean sweep, championship number 6 in the Porsche Elite Cup. We hope you've enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. Whatever Thursday Night Motorsport looks like next season, it will look a little bit different with the absence of Grant Gill, but we're looking forward to more great action here on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. All the same when Term 3 gets underway on July 10. The boys will be with you on Sunday for the final round of the GSRC GT3 Endurance Championship for this half of the season. But yes, half of our 2023 schedule has been run and won, over and done, out and off for a couple of well-deserved weeks break. And then after we've refueled and recharged the batteries and set ourselves up ready to go once more, we'll be back with you. Keep an eye on the social pages because that will be the place that informs you and enlightens you on when we're on air and what we're covering throughout the course of the next season. The schedule looks like it's remaining the same. Couple of little tweaks here and there with regards to venues and what weeks are sprint races and what weeks aren't. And, of course, a couple of car changes for the production cars coming out. But everything looks set fair to stay the same. The only variable, what nights we're on air. Monday night's locked in. Keep your eyes peeled to see when else will be popping up to bring you all the action on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. In the meantime, on behalf of the entire broadcast commentary and production team here, and specifically Grant Gill and myself for the last nearly 4 hours, I'm Zach Caban. Hope you enjoyed it from both Sandown first up and the Red Bull Ring second up. Well done to Whitaker Motorsport. Well done to Matty Dench. Well done to Jeff Adams and Richard King as well in the team's championship in the open split. Spoils there as well. Look forward to your company in a couple of weeks when Season 14, Term 3 of 2022 gets underway across Facebook, Twitch and YouTube on the platforms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Until then, enjoy the rest of your Thursday night, everybody. On behalf of Grant Gill, I'm Zach Caban. It's bye for now.